little bit, because if you look on the screen, you can see the camera, and it's covering up good old John over there. There we go. How's that? No, you don't have your phone. Okay.
I'll check.
Well, good morning, Facebook Nation and YouTube channel. We're so glad to have you with us this morning. Some great stuff going on this show today. We've got Luke Roberts, James Harris, and John back here from the St. Louis Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame. They've got a huge event coming up next month that we're going to talk about. It's going to happen on July the 19th. We've also got Night of Champions next month, or next week, I should say, on Saturday. Man, that one's a crazy one. Yeah. 5-6 matches already announced for that one. We'll give our predictions on that, go over the matches. You know, everything that happened during the week to set this stuff up, too. A lot of stuff going on. Some upset victories in AEW in the women's division. Woo! Queen of the, or actually the Owen Hart women's tournament, I should say.
Weber Chevrolet.
Queen of the Ring tournament, King of the Ring tournament. We've got our finalists. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be
don't
interesting.
like it, mamas. I'm telling you right now.
My predictions have come true so far on that. So far, Jey Uso yeet in the finals.
I know.
Jey Uso yeet.
I know.
What was the record last year that we did?
I'm gonna go to our Yeet historian. I believe it was 62.
62.
I believe it was
62 yeets.
I knew I should have brought my earplugs today.
Like I said, that's one
gonna win too.
Huh?
He's gonna win.
He's gonna win.
I know, and that's what's sad. That is the saddest thing that they could do. Good old AI. Great job.
Wait a minute, hold up here. You're talking bad about the Yeet? Last time I thought you were all about
No.
No.
He's never been about that.
I've never been about that.
But you know what's really cool? His wife is so awesome. There was one morning where she brought in a whole huge slew of donuts for us. And
He was there.
Was you here for that?
Yeah, I was.
That was last year. On every single one of them, folks.
Just to give you an idea, we'll give it a Yeet here and a Yeet there to put us at 10. And if anybody wants to make it a point to come by the station when we break that record here today on the program, make it a point to bring this guy right here, who is wearing an awesome shirt, by the way.
A dinosaur shirt of all.
Dinosaur tacos.
Dinosaur
Bring
tacos.
me tacos.
We got Night of Champions.
Well, yeet on that.
Well,
I mean, if we all do it, that's 5 right there, right?
Hey.
That's 6 right there.
Okay, listen. One,
Well, it's 5.
2, 3.
Yeet!
I know.
And if we do a double yeet each of us, that's double the number as well. A yeet!
I know.
Well, you know, guys, one thing you gotta look at too on this is the idea of if Jey Uso can make it to the end of the tournament, then you gotta look at the question. I heard a lot of our broadcast colleagues talking about it. Which way does Jey Uso go?
Oh, he goes after Cody.
If he goes
He has
after
to go.
Cody, then what happens?
But he's not.
bitch.
But he's not going to go after Cody because it's going to be Gunther's title.
That's true, but you gotta look at it
No,
too.
Cody's going to retain against both Cody and Sami Zayn.
Well,
Sorry to bust your bubble over there, you listen.
Well, what happens? What happens though? And again, we go with the things that they're not expecting, and you get both Roman and Jay with those championships. I mean, again, they want to get rid of the.
You know what happens? Click.
Oh,
No, you won't, because you still got to show
I know.
that is true. That is
I'll be like, Sarge, where's the notes? Where's the notes?
Oh, goodness. We've got a hell of a show lined up today. It is going to be a lot of fun. And we do have storms coming into the St. Louis area. Got to say that. Be out there. Be mindful if you're out there. Flood watch in effect right now as well.
No trading action for U.S. markets on Friday, which were closed in observance of the Juneteenth
74
holiday.
feels like it's
Oil prices
74,
moderated after
but that
reports of a
humidity is
ceasefire between Israel and
79% right
Hezbollah.
now.
Next week, investors will be digesting a batch of earnings reports, including Carnival, Micron Technology, FedEx, Darden Restaurants, among a batch of others. And markets will be bracing for key inflation data with the release of the PCE index.
And on my thing here on the computer, it says the rain's supposed to start around about 11 o'clock or so. show, and it's going to go until about 9 o'clock, on and off all day today. And, you know, like I said, guys, if you're out and about, be careful because they're saying possibly 2 to 3 inches of rain today, to include 50 to 70 mile an hour gusts of wind as well. So just be careful out there. Maximus Stone is in the Facebook chat, our Uncensored Wrestling Talk champion. Good to see you, good sir. It's an awesome show last week with him. And
Don't you mean co-champion?
No.
He is a co-champion.
Wrong answer.
My mother was sitting in the back
Yes, she was.
same
Yes,
day.
she was. You were absolutely
He's
positive.
a co-champion, and
She was in the viewers
tell him every single
gallery.
time.
Get the podcast 5 days a
Did
week
you
at
get your
podcasts.com.
That was sitting in your chair?
Download your favorite podcast.
It got moved.
Got moved.
The bag?
Yeah, sure.
Alright, cool. Thank you.
What's in the bag? It's in the box.
Gwyneth Paltrow's hair.
2.5 minutes.
That's the book
2 minutes
that
and 20 seconds to
Mr.
be
Stone
exact.
said he was going to give me.
Yep. You brought us each one of them.
Yep.
One of them.
Thank you.
My wife
Mama
was
Bear,
already read the
Sarah
book.
Harley in the
Very good
Facebook chat saying good morning, guys. Well, good morning to you, Mama Bear. Hope you're doing well this morning. We've got 2 minutes before we go live on the radio.
You gotta remember too, everybody, make sure you check out, you got Facebook, you got YouTube, you got Twitch, you got it all right here on Censored Radio.
Well, have you shared it over to Twitch?
Twitch.
I haven't shared over the Twitch yet.
Who's on Twitch?
Who's on Twitch? No, we're not on Twitch.
You know,
We could be on Twitch.
we could arrange that to where you guys could have that opportunity somewhere down the road. I mean, again, you
You
are,
never know.
like I said, when it comes down to it, you are the happening place on a Sunday morning right here.
Hey, we're growing by leaps and bounds, my friend.
That's true. We're gonna say leaps and bounds or yeets and bounds?
Yeets and bounds! Yeets and bounds!
Yeets and bounds.
Yeets and bounds!
We're ready
I'm
up to
probably going to start
25.
crying before today's over with.
Earlier Saturday night, Curacao scoreless tie against Ecuador for its first ever World Cup point, finding World Cup record 15 saves by Eloy Room. The result also clinched Group E for Germany. Golf going into the final round of the U.S. Open. Wyndham Clark at 7 under par overall has a 6-shot lead over 4 players, including Scotty Scheffler. Clark will tee off the final round today at 2:30 Eastern Time. Rory McIlroy 10 shots off the lead, plus 3 overall. Baseball Saturday night, the Phillies' Kyle Schwarber hit 3 home runs, and Bryce Harper hit for the cycle in a 15-3 victory over the Mets. Schwarber now with 28 home runs to lead the majors.
From the Meyer
30
Auction and
seconds.
Real Estate Weather Center, here's your updated KYRO forecast. A flood watch continues. Thunderstorms likely today, otherwise cloudy skies expected. Daytime highs approaching 81. Cloudy skies expected again tonight. Chance of thunderstorms. Lows level off around 59. Currently 73. That's the latest from News Radio KYRO. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki.
Jennifer Wojcicki. And the mics are going live. What a
Wait a
Sunday
second.
morning already we're having. Well, good Sunday morning. We are live inside the Gateway Fiber studio of News Radio 105.3 FM, 1280 AM KYRO. We are also live on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. Make sure you jump in there, Uncensored Wrestling Talk, if you want to join in with questions and comments. I will be monitoring the Facebook as HD Daniels here will be monitoring the YouTube. And speaking of which, our resident referee, Mr. 1, 2, 3, Yeet! HD Daniels back in the studio after a little bit of a hiatus. How are you this morning, my friend?
Thank you. I'm back.
He is back. He is back. And of course, sitting directly across from me, he is our nematode Nelly. He's the super fan. Tim Williams. Good morning, Tim.
Good morning,
How are you feeling
everyone.
today?
Oh, I love it. I got my dinosaur taco shirt on for my Father's Day and birthday gift this week.
So you're saying you're yeet-tabulous.
No.
Whew, it's going to be a good one today, folks. In studio with us, This is awesome. Luke Roberts, James Harrison, John from the St. Louis Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame. We're going to be talking about a huge event that they've got coming up next month. Some serious stuff happening. Some awesome inductees that are going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Luke Roberts about to speak here.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for having us on the program again today. And again, just to let you know, as our good friend likes to talk about, we're going to talk about the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. We're going to talk about Night of Champions. We're going to talk about a lot of great stuff here. We're going to talk about independent wrestling right here on Uncensored Wrestling Talk. And just to let you know, the yeet count is, I believe,
25.
Yeet! Well, hold on. No, we're updating as we speak. For those who were part of the show last year, the record stands at 62 yeets. I believe right now, John, aren't we about 30?
30, yeah.
30
I'd
of
say
them.
33.
33 is the official count.
But we can start doing it by 5.
Don't
So
you
we
mean
all do it
13?
at once.
I think it was
No,
13.
no, it's 33.
Well, hold on, just to make you happy. Yeet, yeet, 35. Let's move on to the world of pro wrestling.
Well, real quick before we do get going with anything, on the Facebook and the YouTube, we did a double yeet. I think
That's
it's
true.
time we do it for the radio audience now.
Right.
Can that be arranged?
3, 2, 1. A yeet, yeet. Now it's 45.
Look at
Yeah.
Hey, silent, ladies and gentlemen. We're only, like 5 minutes into the program?
No.
Don't worry. Don't worry. Still a long time to go here. He will poke the bear. First and foremost, before we really get going, our main sponsor for this show, Uncensored Wrestling Talk, of course, is NWA's World League Wrestling, one of the best independent wrestling companies that are out there as well in the St. Louis area. So much stuff going on. The first Saturday of this month, the first time in 43 years, gentlemen, that St. Louis local wrestling was on local television, KPLR TV, CW11. We'll have another episode next Saturday at noon, so make sure y'all set your DVRs. It's going to be a huge one. Can't let the cat out of the bag what match it's going to be yet, but it's a doozy. It's a doozy, and if you saw the first one, that was a major matchup between NWA's champion, Billy Silas Mason, taking on NWA's World League Heavyweight Champion, the Grand Regent, Camaro Jackson. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. For this past Thursday, it started HD Daniels on Fox 2 STL Plus.
We're on the Fox app.
We are on the Fox app now with NWA's World League Wrestling Showdown. And with that starting up, that'll be played every single week. Now, there's some folks that I've seen out there have got it a little confused. So I'm going to let everybody know exactly what the schedule is for NWA's World League Wrestling Showdown. The first and the last Saturday of each month, you will be able to catch those new episodes on CW11, KPLR TV. And then the following Thursday of the next 3 weeks after that first Saturday, it'll show on that app at 8:30 p.m. on Thursday night every single week. So if you missed it the first one, you can go back and watch it again. And then after that last weekend, on that last Saturday, that following Thursday, it'll show up that episode on the app.
On the app.
On the app.
And then the last Saturday is a new episode on CW.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. That's what I said.
Reiterated.
So you should be able to see it 4 times in a month.
Yeet, 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 yeet.
Yeet.
That's 6 more. That's 51, my friend.
That was 6.
Yeah.
One thing you'll look at too when you talk about WLW Showdowns, right? NWA WLW Showdown, you're getting an opportunity to see the best and the brightest of the NWA taking part in matches inside the squared circle. And again, WLW making it a point later on this summer, and we're going to be talking about that later on in the program as well. WLW's next major event after.
In fact, I'm going to talk about it right this second.
Way to
go, Lou.
There you go. What a segue.
Last event, that the very first ever Territory Classic is going to take place at the Race Wrestling Arena in Troy on August the 15th, and it will be called NWA Showcase, the 2026 Territory Classic, and the territories that will be involved in this one. Of course, World League Wrestling, NWA Joe Kazana Promotions, NWA Chicago, Dog Pound Championship Wrestling, Texas Style Wrestling, KFW Wrestling, NWA's New Mexico, or otherwise known as Duke City Championship Wrestling, and also Fight the World Wrestling. You know, the stars are still being decided on who's going to be coming in from those organizations, and the brackets still have to be set. But man, what an event this one is going to be. But the news gets even bigger, because on that day, WLW is going to have a former champion attending that event. And it's not just any champion, though. He is a former UFC welterweight champion in the days of when the company was just taking off. And WLW announced this earlier this week on Facebook that it is going to be none other than Matt Hughes is going to be in the building, and he's going to be presenting the trophy to the winner of that tournament. Something else I found out earlier this week, Superfan. Tickets are on sale right now at HarleyRace.com for the event itself. Now, for the meet and greet, we still got to wait for the offices of WLW to announce that, but I'm sure they're going to be doing that very, very soon. Keep an eye on the Facebook page, HarleyRace.com, all that awesome stuff to make sure that you do not miss this in the least. I have been saying this, I don't know for how long, but I'm going to say it again. Get your tickets now. Get them early. If you wait, even though nowadays, if you just wait a couple of weeks after they've gone on sale, you're out of luck.
Absolutely.
You're standing on the outside wondering what the heck is going on the inside, H.D. Daniels.
Well, we know what's going on the inside.
We know,
Hot
but
action.
they don't know. They have to wait.
Well, we're here to tell them.
Well, we told them the next day. We told them the next day. But then for them to be able to see what's going on, then they have to wait for Showdown to air.
I was just going to say, they got to wait till Channel 11.
Exactly.
Or the Fox 2 Plus app.
Thank you. Very good. Very good. Now, with all that being said, July the 19th, Luke Roberts, you guys have an awesome event that's going to be going on.
Very true, Sarge. And like I said, we're talking about the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, the class of 2026. And it's very fitting that we talk about independent wrestling. We talk about, you mentioned at the top of the program, the match between Wrigley Silas Mason and Camaro Jackson. I'm going to tell you, I had an opportunity to see that match, and I've known HG for many a year, and I'm going to tell you right now, I was sitting on the edge of my seat. I thought history was going to be made. Camaro Jackson is an individual who is phenomenal in the ring, and I'm going to tell you right now, there are very big things in the future for Camaro Jackson, and I'm just going to go on the record right now here on the program today. Camaro Jackson in the immediate future is going to be holding championships in the NWA larger than the World League Wrestling Championship.
Ooh.
He is that good, he is that strong, and I'm going to tell you right now, he's only getting better, and I'm going to tell you right now, he's one of those individuals that will be a future mainstream champion when it comes to professional wrestling. But when you talk about independent wrestling, there has been so much wrestling going on as of late. I mean, again, when you look at some of the matches that have taken place lately, you had, just last night alone, you had Gary Jackson taking on Mike Outlaw. You had the King of Chaos, Ricky Cruz versus Abad. You had Jerry Morgan taking on Mustafa Ali from TNA Wrestling. You had Jalen Strong and Big Daddy Dion. You have Angelo Grimsley and James Brady in an uncensored match. You have Billy McNeil and Chris Exodus, a feud right now, but I got to tell you, as it stands to me, is probably going to be one of the top 5 series of matches in 2026. These men have gone out there and they deliver. It's like looking at past meets future, and it really is great. And that's what makes independent wrestling so great, is the different wrestlers you can see all around the area. And on Sunday, July 19th at Andres Banquet Center, we're going to have the 2026 Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, and we're going to have the opportunity to acknowledge those who have paved the way for wrestlers, both male and female. We're going to be looking at individuals who paved the way for referees, for announcers, you name it, we're going to be acknowledging it. And again, this year's class, I mean, we looked at it, and I actually calculated it out yesterday, over 200 100+ years of wrestling experience between these
Ooh.
8 individuals. And again,
That's a
that's one of those when you sit there and you look at it and you see what the words Hall of Fame, you know what professional wrestler, what it takes to be a pro wrestler. But to be a Hall of Famer, you have to be in that very elite class. And all of these individuals who are going in the class of 2026 definitely deserve to be in that class.
We're going to get to that here in just a second. From the Facebook chat, Nikki O'Shaughnessy saying good morning to everyone. Well, good morning to you as well. Maximus Stone, our guest that was on last weekend and our, of course, Uncensored Wrestling Talk champion. He says, full house at the best wrestling podcast in the nation this morning.
Who said
Wow.
that?
Maximus
Maximus
Stone.
Maximus.
Very kind of you, sir. Thank you
You know
very
what that
much.
deserves. Yeet.
A yeet.
No, I know.
Yes.
No.
Herb Simmons, the promoter and owner of SICW, Southern Illinois Championship Wrestling, saying good morning to the full house and good morning to you, good sir. And of course, Jimmy Harris here in the studio with us, saying good morning to everybody that's in the chat room as well.
We got some YouTube chat too.
Okay, please bring it.
At Marty Kadich 6615. I don't know who that is.
I have no clue.
No, dude. He says Luke, long time no see.
Very true, very true.
And
Good
he
to see you,
said
Marty.
he happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to all the fathers that are out there. Absolutely. You know, July the 19th is the date for this next event for the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. Who do you have that's being inducted into the Hall of Fame that day?
Well, right now we actually have 3 different categories, if you will, for the Hall of Fame this year. This year we have 5 general inductees. And I'm going to go ahead and start because there's one individual that I have a very storied history with. He's also for those listening on KYRO, in either the FM or the AM format, is a man who spent the majority of his life here in the greater area, and that is Every Ladies Fantasy Marcus Mansfield. A man who, I mean, what more can you say about the man? I mean, when you look at it, promoted multiple promotions, actually got the blessing of Bob Geigel to restart Central States. Matter of fact, if you go back and look at the WWE, and the induction speeches, there's an individual he teamed with and helped bring along in the wrestling industry named Angus King.
Mm-hmm.
Angus King later went on to be the WWE's Kane. And when you hear about the Hall of Fame and you look back at some of the stories that talk about his early days in the WWE, you look at the idea of where you hear the story about how he broke down on the way to Bad Blood. It was Marcus Mansfield, one of his earliest training partners, one of his earliest compatriots in the industry, that made sure that he got to the Kiel Center to make sure that his star would explode at Bad Blood.
And of course, you're speaking of Mr. Mayor himself now, Glenn Jacobs from Bowling Green, Missouri.
Very,
Just
very,
right up the road.
very, very true. And like I said, with that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the Hall of Fame. You've got Black Glove Butch Fletcher, a man who, and I've said it to anybody that'll listen, I know HD's heard it enough times, he probably wants to be physically ill, but without Butch Fletcher, there's not a Luke Roberts. I had a pretty good career back in the early 2000s, and Butch brought me back in. Butch, as he said, taking a page from something that was said last night at an event I attended, NGW, is the idea where he was one of those that made me kind of reignite that love for professional wrestling. And Butch, I mean, you name it, he's been a promoter, he's been a referee, he's been an announcer, definitely deserving of the accomplishment. And like I said, that's just the tip of the iceberg. That's 1/4 of our inductees with both these men. And again, to give you an idea, and I'm just going to level here, and being here on Uncensored Wrestling Talk and totally keeping HD on his toes today.
Uh-oh.
No,
I never know how to do this.
To give you
Here
an
comes a
idea.
one-word answer.
Yeah, to give you an idea, when it came to being a referee, one of the people I got some fine points from was Butch Fletcher, and had an opportunity a couple weeks ago to share a couple matches of one H.G. Daniels
Oh, really?
to
Okay.
Butch, and Butch has said right now, and he and I are both in agreement, this is a man right here given the history, the love of professional wrestling, the knowledge of professional wrestling, I'm going to tell you right now, when it comes down to it, when he decides to finally hang up the referee shoes and call it a career, this man right here, in my opinion, not only has eclipsed almost everything I've done, but as a man right here, and I'm just going to level with the listeners and the viewers of the show, this man one day, keeping where he's at, is going to be in the spot as a Hall of Famer. I have no questions
That's
whatsoever about
okay.
that.
Thank you. Making me blush. All right. Thank you.
Hey, this is why I've got him on the show here with us on a regular, because of his knowledge of professional wrestling globally, around the world as a whole.
Well, hold on one second. Man,
You may.
you know, I look at these, and I think this is probably the best reply from HD as it relates to what I just said.
A yeet.
Yeet.
A yeet.
I know. I
Oh, so superfan Tim Williams over here disagrees
No, I don't
with what we're saying about HD Daniels.
I don't disagree.
Wow.
I don't disagree. Now you're twisting the words like you like to do. I do not disagree what you're saying about HD. HD is the best referee I've ever seen.
Ever seen? What is
I'm
going
serious
on
about
here?
it. No, well, look at some of the stupid stuff you see at WWE and the referees they do there. You should be in a high-level organization, the senior referee.
I'll tell you
Okay,
something.
all right.
I'm going to tell you something here.
It's getting a little
And I
heavy.
agree everything that you're saying about HD Daniels. There's another person that I think you should look at consideration for this, and he is also a former senior referee official at World League Wrestling, and that's Martin Kadich.
All right, Marty Kadich.
I would agree on that as well. I mean, Marty had the opportunity to be at many different events with Marty, and again, class act inside and outside of the ring.
Absolutely.
And again, another one of those individuals that definitely has a very storied history when it comes to professional wrestling here
Yes,
in
he
the
does.
Midwest. And again, when you look at that, and actually, I kind of segues perfectly into talking about our third inductee, that being a gentleman who's going to be receiving the Pete Parisi Award. Now, for those that are listening in or tuning in, many people don't know who Pete Parisi is. Pete Parisi was St. Louis Wrestling Media before there was St. Louis Wrestling Media. When we have an opportunity back in the days when Wrestling at the Chase finally closed up shop and was absorbed, I'll put it that way, by
WWE.
Exactly.
Who didn't even use regular wrestlers from the area anymore.
That's true. But when it came down to it, Pete Parisi was one of those where he was consistently at the MMWA. He was recording every event. He was putting things together. He was doing interviews. He was doing off-site interviews, and he was helping put together a program called Pro Wrestling with Big Daddy. Later became Pro Wrestling with the Giant Assassin. And a shout-out, thoughts, prayers, condolences to the family of Roger Bailey. Recently passed away, a member of our Hall of Fame. Great manager, great wrestling personality. But Pete Parisi, I mean, he always seemed to be there. I mean, you would think, hey, this would be a great opportunity, and he would just appear out of thin air. And I can tell you right now, Jim Harris has had countless experiences with Pete being that way. This gentleman right here, the yeet counter himself, John Doherty.
Hey, what are we up to right now?
67.
Hey!
We're making the record.
67 yeets, make it 69. I like it.
Well, but
I
again,
think
to
you
give
just
you,
did.
to give you the idea, the Pete Parisi Award is for an individual who does things and accomplishes things outside the ring, but still gives a contribution to what goes on inside the squared circle. And this year's inductee, Tom Simon, checks all the boxes. I mean, the man's had, between his time in pro wrestling and roller derby, which he actually started his announcing career in, 50 years in professional sports.
Wow.
That right then and there is a huge statement. But
Absolutely.
he's refereed countless matches. He's been a part of the Cauliflower Alley Club. He's been a part of the Tragos Thesz Hall of Fame. Matter of fact, he has sang the national anthem of both America and Canada at the Cauliflower Alley Club. And I'm going to kind of let a little cat out of the bag here, and I talked with Jim about this before we went live on the air. I think it's going to be a first for the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame this year that inductee Tom Simon will be singing the national anthem to open the festivities this year at the Independent
Very
St. Louis
nice.
Wrestling Hall of Fame. He's going to be bringing his musical talents to Andres Banquet Center on Sunday, July 19th. But again, when it comes to Tom Simon, I mean, the names he's been in the ring with, one match, I sent this guy right here. Tom Simon had the opportunity as a part of the Trago Stez. Imagine this combination. Colt Cabana and Hardcore Holly.
Wow.
They had a match. Tom Simon was the third man in the ring. And I'll tell you right now, when it comes to the Pete Parisi Award, to me, there is no one more qualified this year than Tom Simon, and I know he's going to be in attendance. He's had a lot of time to talk, and you can imagine somebody who talks more than I do. That's Tom Simon, and you're going to get to hear all those great stories of the Hall of Fame.
Very cool. Hey, we are past our first break here on Uncensored Wrestling Talk, so we're going to go ahead and take that. And then when we come back, we'll continue talking to Luke about these other inductees that are going to be inducted on July the 19th at Andres Banquet Hall, you said?
Yes, sir.
But Superfan, real quick, how long is that break?
It is only 59 seconds long.
And it starts right now.
We might just want to leave it at 69. That's the perfect number.
Confusing pricing. Press 3. For extremely long wait times, stay on the line. For 87 to line, 85 to line, 87 to line, 85 to line.
I've
Where there
sent
is frustration,
him
now
a couple
comes
of times.
satisfaction.
Hello, this is
I've sent one or two of your past matches to WLW.
Isn't it time you refreshed your internet provider?
And I mean,
More
again,
information
and I'm
at
serious, man.
GetFire.com.
If you spend time
Family
at
Shoe
WLW,
Store is a
spend time
local
in
family
NWA,
and
you've got all
veteran-owned
this
tradition in
in
historic
your
downtown
first 5
Troy,
years of
Missouri,
industry.
dedicated to serving the local community and providing great customer
for the first
service.
7
Their
years.
brands include Red Wing,
You're
Irish
back
Setter,
on,
Works,
you're on
Burnside, Brooks,
local
Merrill,
television,
New Balance,
mainstream
Skechers,
local
Thoroughbred,
television.
as well as Superfleet insoles, state-of-the-art
I
3D
sent
foot
the
scanner to ensure you get just the right insoles for you. Finley Shoe Store providing men's and women's quality footwear in Lincoln County area since
And the
1947.
mics
Finley
are
Shoes,
going
636
live
1847.
right now. Hey, welcome back, Uncensored Wrestling Talk. We are in the first hour of the show. We are coming to you live from the Gateway Fiber Studio of News Radio 105.3 FM, 1280 AM, KYRO. Of course, we're also live on our streams, the Facebook channel and the YouTube channel as well. Uncensored Wrestling Talk. Jump in the chats, interact with us as the show goes on. H.T. Daniels, my friend.
Hi.
Hey, we're on X.
We're on X at UW Talk KYRO.
And Superfan, we've got a Discord channel, my
Discord.
friends.
Uncensored Wrestling Talk Show.
And I believe H.E. Daniels,
What?
you'll put the link into the
He does it
Facebook
every
channel and
week.
YouTube chat for that Discord
I
channel.
will.
Nice. Very nice. Hey, Luke Roberts, talking about this awesome event next month on July the 19th for the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame event. Where can folks get tickets at?
That's a great question to ask here, Sarge. For those who want to know more about getting tickets for the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, or to find out information about all of our Hall of Famers, you can make it a point to go, and it's a little bit of a unique address. It's ISTL, that being St. Louis, obviously, WHOF.com.
ISTLWHOF.com.
And to give you an idea, I think HD is going to be more than willing to put that into the different chats throughout all forms of social media when it comes to today's program. And real quick here, since we came back from the break, what is our current total, Mr. John?
69.
69 what?
69 yeets.
That's 70.
You broke it.
Well,
You broke it.
since we're at 70,
We had
we might
The
as well make
record
it
has been
75.
broken in the
That's true.
first 25 minutes of the show this week. How
You know,
about
the goal is simple to me. I want to see if we can get one per minute of this show. I think we can do that. I mean, it's 120.
Well,
we're
if
only
up
50
to
away.
70 right now, exactly.
Yeah.
My thoughts exactly. We're only 50 away. And
You
we've
know-
gotten to 70 in the first 25 minutes. Oh, we can be done. Yeet, 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 yeet.
76.
And good old Superman over here is hating every second of this.
You know, though, when he comes down to it, I mean, again, he is the super fan for a reason. He follows professional wrestling. He has a phenomenal fashion sense. I'm not playing around here. I mentioned it before we came in the studio today. I love the shirt. Shout out to all the dads for Father's Day. And like I said, for a combination of that and your birthday, am I correct?
Friday was my birthday.
So again, to have a combination and have a shirt like that, definitely one of those where, again, making a fashion statement here as we talk about the independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame.
We've done a yeet for every year that Superfan has been alive and then some.
Well, okay, that's 76 now.
77.
77?
Yeah.
Yeet, we're 80. Moving right along.
Some of the other inductees that are going to be inducted on July the 19th at this awesome event.
Well, right now, as we look at things here with the inductees, the next couple of inductees we're going to talk about here are individuals who, without their contributions, professional wrestling in the St. Louis area is not the way that it is today. The first one we're going to talk about is a gentleman by the name of The Beast. The Beast has traveled all around the country, 30-plus year career, traveled internationally. Some of the matches he's had with the likes of Iorio, Chief Atakula Kula, Billy Bob, among others, Harsh, Izzy Blackwell. Do believe he's had matches with Douglas O'Shea as well. When it comes down to it, The Beast is probably the toughest man I have ever seen. Light tubes, barbed wire, thumbtacks, Christmas ornaments, kendo sticks, chairs, tables, you name it, The Beast has found a way to use it inside the squared circle. But, and again, pulling that curtain back here a little bit, genuinely one of the nicest guys you'd ever want to meet. When you look at this Hall of Fame class, Marcus Mansfield and The Beast are two that they can turn it on inside the ring, and they shut it off the second they walk through that curtain.
But don't get on their bad side.
Don't get on their bad side because it's a recipe for disaster. And I know that almost everybody except for the super fan knows this, and I think you're going to appreciate this. And maybe I'm going to get in trouble, but oh well. The Beast is a huge Tom Jones fan.
Okay.
So, again, we've had the opportunity to talk with him about that, and we've got some people who are trying to see if maybe we can get the Beast breaking into some Tom Jones and all
Not
thing.
unusual.
So, but like I said, the Beast definitely deserving of it. And when you talk about the Beast, you would be remiss about talking about Steve Montana, a man who's held countless championships. As a matter of fact, I do believe at one point my colleague Jim Harris had some pretty memorable dealings early in the career with Steve Montana. Steve Montana not only holds countless championships, but he took pro wrestling and moved it into a successful acting career. Right now, he's a member of the Screen Actors Guild. Matter of fact, he actually, I believe it was the end of last week, just finished wrapping a film, and I believe it's the Tuesday he after the Hall of Fame ceremony goes back to start on a new project.
Wow.
So I mean, again, staying very busy, and again, he's in high demand when it comes to the Screen Actors Guild, and very much in high demand when it comes to the independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. And the last general inductee that we're going to talk about is a man that Sarge, I know you know a little bit about. This guy right here, H.D. Daniels, knows a lot about, and that is Big Bad Ben.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big Bad Ben in the early 90s, and I'm a level. There weren't too many promotions here in the St. Louis area, and I'm not going to mean any kind of shade towards WLW, because at the time, WLW was still in Eldon.
Mm-hmm.
They really didn't have a lot of main St. Louis connections outside. I think they had a couple events at the Shriners. They had very limited events here in the St. Louis area. They were more like right on the outer edge. But when you have 2 or 3 promotions that have pretty much been the standards for professional wrestling for a number of years, Big Bad Ben, or as some know him, the Raging Cajun, and yeah, I'm old enough to know there, he didn't like how the wrestling scene was. And he decided to step up, take a huge risk, and see what he could do. And the end result was helped to form MRW, later helped to form Gateway Championship Wrestling. And that in itself is enough for acknowledgement. But when you look at the names of some of the people that he's brought along to have phenomenal careers in the wrestling industry, wrestlers like Dingo, Daisy Hayes, Mischief, Matt Sydal, Delirious, right then and there, those 5 individuals have held countless championships across the world. When you put 1 + 1 + 1 together, and I'm gonna call a spade here. There were times that Big Bad Ben and I didn't get along.
Sure.
But when it comes down to it, you cannot discredit the fact that Big Bad Ben helped to mold the professional wrestling scene in St. Louis into what it is today.
Very cool.
And I'll tell you right now, when you look at those individuals that are going in, and we still have 2 more, but I'm actually going to go ahead here in just a couple minutes. I'm going to call in Jim Harris because this falls under his category. That being the President's Awards that we have. Like I said, we talked earlier about the Pete Parisi Award. There's a lot of other awards that we have. We have awards like the John Blackheart Award, an award presented to an individual who goes out there and is a true professional inside the ring. One of those that can go out there and wrestle anybody and have a phenomenal matchup. We also have the Jerry Bullion Award, which is an award to recognize those fans that go above and beyond. I mean, Jerry Bullion was at everything. He gave this man so much grief over the course of his career. I mean, that would be a novel in itself. And the second recipient, Peggy Mender, who had an opportunity last night to see at NGW. And again, shout out to all the crew at NGW. Shout out to CHWA. Shout out to Midwest Throwdown. All 3 having great events last night on the Metro East side of the river. Had an opportunity to acknowledge Peggy Mender last night. And again, it's one of those, you want to talk, Peggy? And she shrunk up in her chair because that's one of the things she doesn't do. She doesn't do microphones too well. But Peggy is the epitome of a diehard fan. I mean, Peggy goes to everything. I mean, to be honest, she's probably been to WLW. I know she's been to Broadway. She's been to SICW. She's been to Dynamo Pro. She's been to CHWA. She's been to New Genesis. She's been, I believe, to IEW. There are countless promotions. You can see her. She's always sitting in the front row. She's always rooting for the good guys. She's always booing the bad guys. But at the end of the night, she gives those wrestlers the respect they deserve for getting inside the ring and putting their bodies on the line.
Real quick from Herb Simmons in the Facebook chat room. He says that Steve Montana had many matches with Jason Reeves against Tojo Yamamoto and Gypsy Joe.
Very true. Thank you for the extra info on that, Herb. Again, when it comes down to Steve Montana's built like a house. And having matches with Jason Reeves, again, that's showing some age here. John, did you have any opportunity with Jason Reeves?
No, I did not.
I know Jimmy did. Jason Reeves was just a big dude. It's that simple. And again, if those 2 men went at it, you had to be prepared. Had an opportunity. I've heard stories about him. I've heard a few rival 2 mainstays here in the St. Louis area, the Ron Powers and Giant Assassins back in the day. And again, to have that history behind him, again, another reason why he belongs in the class of 2026.
HD Daniels, you sure are typing quite a bit over
I'm
there.
doing the
What's going
social
on?
media things. I'm just
Hey,
posting
I'm
on the
just
X.
asking.
I'm posting on the X.
Posting on the X.
Did you post a
Posting
heat
in
on the
Discord.
X?
I will.
81.
Can you look real quick and see if there's any more comments on the YouTube
There's a
channel?
couple. There's a couple here.
Let's go ahead and get those out the way, because I'm sure one of them's probably going to be Martin Kadich, berating me for mentioning him. But you know what? He needs to be mentioned as well.
No, Martin's in there. He's saying Happy Father's Day, like we said already. But Mrs. Martin says Happy Father's Day to the best ref she knows.
There you go.
Which is me.
There you go.
Uncensored Wrestling Talk does not condone the comments of one HD Daniels. We reserve the right to edit this broadcast however we see fit.
And the card is always subject to change. What that means, who knows? Who knows? Mr. James Harris, sitting back there very quiet back here, letting Luke Roberts do all the talking.
Well, no. We're gonna bring Jim in here because we're gonna talk about the importance of the last 2 awards that we have as relates to the Independent
Please.
St. Louis Wrestling Hall of
Bring
Fame.
him on in.
Jim, I'm gonna slide on out here and I'm gonna let you talk about the importance of the President Award as it relates to the Hall of Fame.
As we wait for Mr. James Harris.
Yeet. Oh my God.
What is that now? 83, 84,
86.
85, 86.
Yeah, we're
Well,
racking them up.
yeet to make it 90.
Man.
Go ahead and by the arm. There we go. Over to you. And please, as Luke Roberts was talking, you're going to tell us about all these presidential awards and everything that's been going on.
Yeah, well, we decided that there's a lot of wrestlers out there that gave their heart and soul and try really hard to help the business to move up and forward. But unfortunately, their careers are cut short or couldn't be here with us. And so the idea was to give them the honor and respect that they deserve, because they helped bring all these folks back up again. And Luke is the mouth of the South for us, so he's our major media guy. So everything we put on to Luke to do, so I'm okay with that. Because I'm not much of a mic person. I'm a good referee. I'm quiet. I sit in the background, do my job. Don't want to be bothered. So when we put these together, and it was a vote. I said we have a board, so everybody gets a vote. Everybody is vetted, so we check them out to make sure that we're putting in the right people in the right spaces. So when you put these guys in, I mean, it's just amazing to see them. The videos or the information that comes across, and when you start talking about it, everybody wants to send you out information on them.
Sure.
So it is amazing. And we're also gathering materials, items from different people, and one of those people, Johnny Ramirez, who's going in, we're actually getting his boots, his last worn boots. Butch Fletcher has them?
No, that actually is inductee Sadie Blaze.
Sadie Blaze has them. So those will be there at the hall as well. So it's,
Very cool.
it's something we're gathering. John back here, known as Billy Diamond, our wild child.
The wild child himself.
The wild child himself. He's bringing his Kindle stick. I'm donating my referee shirt, which has my mother-in-law on it that passed away from cancer. And I carried them with me in the ring every time I went in. So that was mine to them. And Lightfoot's bringing a headdress. So it's going to get interesting. There's going to be a collection of things.
Very cool.
Then when we talk about Johnny Ramirez and those guys, Johnny's been around a long, long time. Started off with the NWA, wasn't wrestling at the Chase, as a wrestler, referee, amazing talent, amazing background, and he's been around all over the place. And like I said, Luke could give you more the details than I do, but I was kind of a fan of Johnny. I watched Johnny in the ring a couple times, and of course I wasn't around at the time of the matches. But I'm still young. Luke wants to make me sound like I've been here forever. It's just amazing to watch the talent, how he worked and the way he worked, and then watch him as a referee in the ring. It's just amazing to see him. So it's going to be an honor to really put these guys in. I've been around the business 38 plus years, so I got to see my share of these guys.
So I've got a couple of questions for you. So you said that these inductees get voted in by your guys' board. How many members of the board actually are there?
Well, right now we have myself as executive director. Nico O'Shaughnessy is now the VP executive director. Luke Roberts is our media. I actually have Moondog Grover when we can get him to speak on the board as well. We also, John back here was a former board member, but he's still part of the board, assisting us in different things. We also picked up an attorney along the way.
Hey, sometimes you gotta have a lawyer.
Yeah, gotta have one in the background, and he's very anxious to want to sue somebody.
Aren't all lawyers like that?
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's amazing. And then we're going to be announcing another member of the board on the July 19th show. I guess we're kind of keeping that.
Yep, I won't say a word, sir.
Okay.
Keeping it on the
I got
hush.
to look at Look, he likes to spread a little more.
That's a tease, but we'll find out. Get a ticket.
Be here July 19th. Get your tickets
Yeah.
available at STLWHOF.com.
Must be big if Luke's not letting the cat out of the bag.
Well, sometimes I got to lock him down because he likes to overtalk his little. He's still on my list right now. He knows he's in trouble from last year.
So with that being said then, of those number of board members, how many votes does it take to get somebody into the independent St. Louis Hall of Fame?
You got to get over 60% of the vote. So when you start voting, it gets interesting. I usually don't vote too often. I usually let my board do the voting. I'm the tiebreaker when it all comes down to it. And I try to be fair as I can.
Sure.
But the prison board was created because I felt like there were some people we were missing that weren't getting in there. and we needed to get them in there. And one of the President Award, I'm kind of let Luke talk about because he has a better understanding history of them. I don't want to mess it up.
I totally get
You know, but when we do the vote, again, it goes back to, we look at history, we look at what they did in the wrestling business. We also look at what did they pay forward. Because one of the things we always say is, what did we give back? You know, fans give us everything. They give us the props, they give us the glory, they buy our merchandise, they keep us going, and they support us. Jerry Boyd, as he was saying, I loved him to death, but he was my greatest grief giver in the crowd. He would give me hell every chance he got. And it was great because I would interact with him. I think that's what made it better. And one day he asked me, says, can't you count to 5? I said, yeah, 1, 2, 5. And that drove him crazy. And then next thing I know, he's got the whole fan base going 1, 2, 5. And so I got a whole crowd of 1, 2, 5s going on.
Nice.
I mean, that's the kind of person Jerry Boyd, when he could start something and the whole place would follow him. You know,
That's
so
awesome.
that's how I got the 1, 2, 5. You know.
Very cool.
But you know, you get to meet people like that, and it makes it worthwhile. It makes it what we do important. So,
Absolutely.
So like I said, then we got some historians that research things. You know, Luke's a good historian. If I have to, I can really go to Ben, a couple other people that have been around forever that can tell you the whole history of St. Louis wrestling.
Very
And
nice.
everything's researched, and we follow it up, and then we vote on who's more deserving to be there. And when you go to these halls and you hear them see it, we're not picking from one organization, we're picking from all the organizations.
And not just to toot World League Wrestling's horn here, but I want to know what your thoughts were when you found out that for the first time in 43 years that St. Louis Wrestling was going to be back on St. Louis airwaves.
I thought it was way past due. I thought by now we would have had it a long time ago, and to see them stepping up and getting it going and getting those connections, I think it's amazing. That's awesome. Because that's what it should be. It should be St. Louis-based wrestling. There's no wrestling without STL in it, right?
That's right.
Correct.
So
That's right. You're not wrong.
So without us, it doesn't exist. We were the main area, and everybody would tell you that, even as Wrestling Chase Group would tell you, if you made it to San Mushnick's wrestling, you made it. You were there. Because that's how good it was. So yeah, it's awesome to see that happening.
Another quick comment from Herb Simmons in the Facebook chat says, Johnny ended up being the best dressed doorman at Rox's in Brooklyn, Illinois, as well as managing a Shell gas station in Caseyville, Illinois.
Well, there you go. You never know where you're going to find somebody, right?
There you go.
Oh, wait, now I remember, John.
That being said, we are up against our last break of this first hour. We're gonna go ahead and take it. It's only a few minutes long, so stay there. Don't touch those dials, and we'll come back with more from the folks here in the studio from the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. And hey, who knows where the conversation is gonna go to next? And that's a yeet.
You sure we're going to eat that?
King Scott here, and I'm with John Lang. John, tell me about the latest sales you guys have going on.
Well, the last one I got kind of
That boat kind of sale going on. No quote unquote sale going on.
You know.
Because usually those sales from
We got the ringleader over there, really.
Dan Skippy.
Peter to pay both somewhere.
See, I'm in chat.
What are you at? Peanut butter?
We're not about sales, we're about true savings. I like that. No sales.
No, we're past 90, we're at 93.
Check out the inventory.
That
and you
includes
guys-
You might as well make it 100 before the break.
It's 100. It's 100. It's 100.
How
many have you got HD for?
Oh,
I don't know. I'm just
and with
letting
our
the heat
great
go.
prices, we're confident
Keep
we
momentum.
can set up the right way.
He's probably gonna say, we're gonna fight these guys
Great
back.
inventory. There's a reason Hot Top Motor
Well, at least
Company
I'm not in the
offers
chat doing
1,000
it.
five-star reviews.
Sure.
That is true.
That's
Come
our
by and
chat.
go get the good guys in Troy. MountTopMotors.com.
Usually we get
Facebook and Instagram.
in the chat.
That's right. She was there last year.
She's trying to say we're overloading it.
People are talking about Don Julio's
Marty says,
Mexican
"Don't pull
restaurant in the
my soul out
of
Winter
it." I don't wanna mess
Plaza
up that
and Don Julio's Taco Express
And
on 3 Troy
Marty
Center.
says to you,
Setting
you're
the
better
standard
than
for
Jimmy Hart.
authentic Mexican food
Wow,
and
because you've been
consistent
working
flavors.
hard for
Carry out or dine in 7 days a week at both great locations. Stop
Send me
in
that
or
mold.
order online.
Just like the rest of us, buddy.
Yeah, I get that.
I'll let you pass me up, I'm okay with that.
Don Julio's Mexican Restaurant in the Winfield Plaza and Don Julio's Taco Express at
No, I
Main
say
Street, Troy
you
Center.
acknowledge it when I
And
talk.
don't
Yeah,
forget,
that's
buy one, get one
Okay.
free on Wednesday in Troy and on Monday in Winfield.
Boss. Nope.
That's Don Julio's Mexican Restaurant in the Winfield Plaza and Don Julio's Taco
Yeah,
Express
listen
at
here.
Main Street, Troy Center.
Yeah.
Operator.
So absolutely.
Bringing great authentic Mexican food home to Lincoln County.
Absolutely.
Hasta pronto.
These words are good to me. I have to come on.
Operating Engineers Local 513, proud to support the Mizzou Tigers, St. Louis Blues, Kansas City Chiefs, and local high school sports on News Radio KYRO. The Local 513 training program at Highway 61 F is now accepting apprenticeship applications in the future.
If they want to sponsor us.
Train operation and maintenance
Thanks, man. I
hours,
appreciate
college
it.
credits, and employment as an operator. Visit the Local 513 training program website at
In
IUOE.
Brooklyn, New York.
What do you guys do here?
We recycle. Our typical business is picking up stuff that nobody else can
Sir,
do.
we got one more inductee to talk about, and then we got a little more as it relates to like sponsors,
Not where you would think it would be.
people following.
Troy Winfield, Van Dams, we do
things along
boxes,
those
trailers,
lines, so
we cut stuff up on
I
site.
said we
We
could
do
probably
insurance
do
work, farmers, if you have a burnt
next
building or
segment
wind
and
damage
whatever
building or
else we
green
wanna
dam,
talk
that's our
about, we
specialty.
We got about
Call
6
me
minutes
personally or
before the top of the hour
office.
right now. So,
Like I said, we could probably do easily.
Junior Charlie.
we're gonna come back after this commercial here.
Helping you get a grip on your finances
One
with our
radio,
new
2
mobile
seconds.
banking service.
Okay.
You can now manage your accounts, check balances,
We got about 5 minutes before the
and
top of the
bills all
hour.
from the palm of
Yeah,
your hand.
we get pretty
Visit us
close. We
online
talked
at
about Keon, and then, like I said, we
for more
talked about
information
sponsors.
and
I'm
start
gonna give you a
using mobile
number,
banking.
like
People's
1 or
Bank
2
and
when we
Trust.
get closer
Hometown
to the
banking
top.
the way
So
it
that
should
we
Gotcha.
be. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Member FDIC.
And the
Equal
mics
housing
are
lender.
going live. Well, welcome back. Uncensored Wrestling Talk, hour number 1. We've got about 5.5 minutes left before the top of the hour, before we go to the news. And of course, we're right back at it at about 6 minutes after the top of the hour. We are live from the Gateway Fiber studio of News Radio 105.3 FM, 1280 AM, KYRO, and of course also on our Facebook feed and our YouTube channel, going strong right now. And up in that Facebook chat, we've got a few more comments I want to run by here. Trisha McGarry Williams says, "Good morning, gentlemen. Sorry I am running behind, but I wanted to give all the fathers out there a great big yeet, yeet, and happy Father's Day, especially Tim." Guys, I'll say yeet to that as well. Nikki O'Shaughnessy saying, "I support working mothers." Okay. Amanda Stout saying, "You said Roxy's." They did during that commercial break.
Future sponsor.
And then Amanda Stout also says, "Hello, gentlemen, and wishing you all a fine, happy Father's Day." Well, thank you very much. We all very much appreciate it. And happy Father's Day to all the fathers that are out there all around this country and around the world. Lots of them out there. Lots of them out there. Luke Roberts.
Hi.
The media director. Oh, good Lord. Steve Daniels over here. Good Lord. The media director for the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, going over the different awesome inductees that's going to happen on July the 19th at the Andres Banquet Hall.
Correct.
Banquet Arena. What do you call that?
Andres Banquet Center. It's the 4254
Banquet Center.
Telegraph in St. Louis.
And for that event on July 19th, how can folks get tickets for that?
Tickets can be purchased, and you can get additional information on the Hall of Fame at www.istlwhof.com. Once again, www.istlwhof.com.
Yeet!
Yeet!
I don't even have to say it.
I know. It's maybe I'm just missing yours.
That's so doggone so
110.
doggone awesome. We're at 110.
110.
We're at
110. Gold strong.
110. We have broken the record from last year when Luke Roberts and John was here. Man.
Hey, we're moving along. Yeah,
Will we
first
be
hour.
able to break it next year? That's the question.
It can be arranged.
You know, I think you should hold it back just a little bit so you have something you can achieve next year.
That's true. We have to
Like
set
you can
that
stop
level.
right now.
You know what I think?
Like you can stop right now.
I'm going to set a precedence here. I think that you should come into the show like once a quarter, once every
Works for
couple
me.
of months or so, and we can break it every single time.
That works for me. We can make it work. HD and I will figure out a way that we can get it all on a social
I told you,
media.
Superfan. I told you,
I might
Superfan,
have
that you
cough
poking the
that day.
bear was going to come back and bite you one of these days, and it is here. It is now.
Well, real quick, too, in hour number 2, for all those that are following on Facebook or on YouTube, make it a point to put hashtag Yeet in the chat so we can add those to the total as well.
There you go.
There you go. An easy way to break that total.
We could have 2 separate running totals. The ones that are going on in the studio here on the show itself, and then one for the chat rooms.
That is true. That is true. And like I said, we'll make that all taken care of. And speaking of which, too, we do have to take care of one more little piece of business in hour number 1. That's talking about the final inductee, and Jim Harris was talking about him in the last segment, is the valedictorian Keon option. A lot of people don't know a lot about Keon. I know HD has heard stories about the legacy of Keon option. It was a man who in 6 years in the wrestling industry basically wrestled for everybody. He wrestled for SICW, he wrestled for Dynamo Pro, he wrestled for WLW, wrestled for High Risk Wrestling. He wrestled for countless promotions, but as phenomenal of an in-ring competitor as he was, he did a lot outside the ring. He ran for the House of Representatives. He was president of his Christian fraternity's national chapter, ran for the House of Representatives. And he was actually president of his college NAACP chapter, and he was a officer candidate for the Army National Guard, and he sadly passed away during a training exercise at the age of 30. And I'll tell you right now, if there's anybody to me who deserves a President's Award, Keon Option is that guy, because just as good as he was inside the ring, he was just that good of a person, if not more so, outside the ring.
Very cool. Very cool. Very awesome stuff going on July the 19th. Andres Banquet Center. Get your tickets. STLWHOF.com.
Or
right?
the Facebook page.
Or on the Facebook page.
You can go to the Facebook page, you can get the link, you can go to the website and get the information. And you know what, Tim? We come back in hour 2, you're going to have to read HC's glasses. We'll leave that for hour 2.
And with that being said, hour number 2 will start in about 6 minutes or so from right now until then. Top of the hour news.
Online at gatewayfiber.com. News Radio 105.3, 12
That hour went
KYRO.
so fast.
7 o'clock in the heart.
Marty says Keon was an amazing human being.
I never got to see it.
111. If we double last year at 124, we're gonna have to double it next year at 240 something.
But that's going to be one of those where, though, there's an easy way to add totals. But I'll keep that one in my pocket for a rainy day.
Right, we're gonna need that maybe next year or the year after.
Fire that broke out last week. LA Mayor Karen Bass explaining what the next step is once first responders put out the blaze.
Moving the toxic material.
Nothing but love. Nothing but love.
I've learned to droll it out. I mean, hey.
A major environmental disaster.
I mean, if it's ain't consolation, LA Knight ran it back too.
But he got punished for it.
Yeah.
Right.
12:30 p.m. this afternoon.
Yeah.
America's listening
Exactly.
to Fox News.
I prefer the yeah.
Why are they treated him?
I don't know. I don't.
Yes.
They have a bona fide star if they just push him a little.
That's why they're raising $250,000.
I would like him better than Trick as the U.S. champion.
Yeah.
At the end of July.
But he deserves more than just the U.S.
But right now, he's not.
But how many years does he really have left though? He wasn't a spring chicken when he started. He finally made it to
I think he's like
WWE.
46, and he was saying that he doesn't want to be doing it after he's 50. And I'm like, that's 4 years you've got to, give this man his props for all the dues he's paid to this point.
Would you compare him to the likes of an AJ Styles?
No, because nobody can reach.
Right.
That's true.
That's a high bar.
Yeah, but I mean, again, he's had that natural connection with fans.
Did he pick up where AJ left off whenever AJ left TNA?
That's
Yeah,
true.
I would give him that, yeah.
I'm Charles
Yeah, he
Payne,
can
and
close.
this is the Fox Business Report.
No trading action for U.S.
Right.
markets.
Yeah, well, here's the
Following
thing, though. Are you
close
looking
to
at
observance of the
wrestling
Jewish
ability,
holiday.
or are you looking
Oil
at
prices
being able to hold
moderated
the
after
mantle as
reports of a
king and champ?
ceasefire between Israel and
So when
Hezbollah.
AJ left,
Next
it was
week, investors
Magnus
will be
holding it.
digesting a batch of earnings reports, including Carnival, Micron Technology,
LA not-
FedEx, Darden Restaurants,
I always
among
say
a
that
batch
LA
of
night,
others.
Eli
And markets
Drake
will be
was
bracing for
TNA
key
champion
inflation
by-
data with the release of the
He was TNA
PCE
champion
index
during
on
the first
Thursday.
period of
And Charles
time.
Schwab is
When they
entering
had to
into the
put
prediction markets. According to the Wall
sticker
Street Journal, the
over
brokerage
the
is working with
GSW
CBOE
logo
Global
on
to
the
roll out all or
It was
nothing options
embarrassing.
contracts that let customers
Yeah.
place yes or no wagers on the performance
was
of the
champion then.
S&P 500.
Top
Now, the
TV or
contracts
whatever the heck
differ
it was.
slightly from those offered by platforms like Kalshi or Polymarket, which list
See?
futures contracts and not options.
That doesn't count because
Special
it's
Fox
spelled.
Business
Right.
Report.
So-
I'm Hillary Barsky,
But-
invested in you.
I mean, it's one of those where it's, I mean, that's the thing about wrestling. Blink, you can see something new.
If she
And
truly
right now, I
believed that he
mean,
was
again,
having
you
a
look at that
stroke, she would have
stuff.
sought
I
medical
think the
attention.
one that's really
She would
hit
have
a
taken
home
to the
run this year
hospital.
has
He's
been
got his own
Triple H.
medical team. To your point, this is a lie.
Yeah.
It's a
I mean,
flat
if you
out
look
lie.
at it, you
Every
gotta
bit
give
of it is
serious
lie.
consideration
She didn't
to
have that
Gable
legitimate
Kaiser,
concern
Grande
for her
Grande.
husband because
Really
she
had as a match of the year.
Get the podcast 5 days a week at
And they're more active.
FoxNewsPodcasts.com.
Yeah, they're more interactive.
I don't
They have a lot of
understand why they are though. They're grande characters are literally
Once
making
again,
fun
in
of them.
Troy,
I don't know
Missouri,
why they're
South
even
Lincoln
into
Drive
it.
means country state of mind design.
Well,
They are.
Well, you look at it too, though, from the idea
But
of.
they were able to tell a story behind the story.
Right.
That's correct.
And now the new Grande supports Mexico, all
Right.
those people. And,
That's the main
But when it
justice,
first started, it
right?
made no
yeah,
sense.
yeah,
Right.
I agree.
No.
It was kind of,
It was hokey.
yeah.
It's one of those in the world of storytelling. They put the story in the pot. They stirred it up. They had a few things they could add in as they went, and it became a classic.
We do embroidery here. We also have the newest and latest T-shirt with the direct-to-film
Just like
printer.
we
We
say
actually
here.
print in-house.
You guys have a great website at Country State of Mind.
I can see Grande taking it
Somebody
from
wants to
Dominic
talk about
now.
an upcoming project.
Because
Don't
he's
get,
that
don't
good.
even say that name. I despise him.
Or they can
Dominic
email us
Mysterio, I can't.
at
I
Yeah.
csdesigns.troy.
But is it
He
because-
has the heel character.
Yeah, is it because of the idea of.
No, because he says he can't wrestle. He has-
Oh, so you're gonna call him Sean Wall?
He has go away. He is not worthy of a world championship. He sent him to evolve. Like I cannot stand
Ooh,
it.
damn. Bypass NXT entirely. Wow.
I cannot stand it.
HD Unplugged.
The way he runs the ropes.
Against Ecuador for its first ever World Cup.
Well, he's got the long legs. I mean, you gotta take a couple extra baby steps to get the angle right.
Also placed with Group E for Germany.
He's still learning to walk.
Let's do it. 1 minute before we go back live on the radio.
Yeah,
right
I
now.
know.
And a killer staff. Yeah. So yes, I agree with you. Give it to anybody. Give it to Grande.
Right.
2:30 Eastern time this
Give it to
afternoon.
Ray Phoenix.
Rory
I don't care.
McIlwain somewhat the lead at +3
That's
overall.
a man that's put
Baseball
his
Saturday
defense
night.
in.
Phillies Kyle
Yeah.
Schwarber hit
I was
3
happy to
runs,
see him
and
win
Bryce
the
Harper
last
hit
title,
for the cycle
but I was
in
like,
a
that's
15-3
a
victory
small push to where
over
he
the
Well, I
New York
like
Mets.
that there's a cruiserweight championship.
From the Meyer
Yeah.
Auction and
it's
Real
on
Estate Weather
SmackDown.
Center,
Or
here's
Raw
your
or whatever
updated
it was.
I
KYRO
think so.
forecast. A flood watch continues.
20
Chance of
seconds.
thunderstorms this afternoon, otherwise cloudy skies expected. High temperatures reach up to
Jennifer
80.
Borshitsky.
Slight chance for scattered thunderstorms. Tonight,
New
lows level
girlfriend.
off around 59, overcast skies. Currently 72. That's the latest from News Radio
Maybe it's just a sense of
KYRO.
Hey, Superfan,
I'm meteorologist
the mics are going
Jennifer
live.
I know.
Best
Fugits.
AI voice in the business.
Absolutely awesome bumper music right there, but we've got to pipe it down because our number 2 of Uncensored Wrestling Talk begins right now. We are live inside the Gateway Fiber studio of News Radio 105.3 FM, 1280 AM, KYRO. Of course, also on our Facebook and YouTube channels. Jump in there, join the chat that's going on, interact with the show if you'd like. We will read your comments and your questions on the air. And also, real quick, I know Jennifer Borjitsky was saying it's like 72 outside. I just stepped outside for a moment to see what the weather was doing, and it is raining. It's a nice little steady rain at the moment, but also looking at the weather radar in the Meyer and Company Real Estate Weather Center, it shows that there is a long red line of storms from about Wentzville going to almost north by northeast for about 100 miles or so. So it's very, very close to our area right now in Winfield and in Troy. So if you're out and about, please, please, please be very careful. We are under a flash flood warning as well. They're saying maybe 2 to 3 inches of rain during all this stuff that's coming through, plus winds of up to 50 to 70 miles an hour, and hail that possibly the size of golf balls. Whew. Whew.
Welcome to the summer in St. Louis.
Exactly, exactly. Now, NWA's World League Wrestling's got an awesome event coming up on August the 15th. Of course, that is going to be NWA Showcase, the 2026 Territory Classic. And joining in on that classic, you will see wrestlers from World League Wrestling. Also, NWA Joe Kazana Promotions, NWA Chicago, Dog Pound Championship Wrestling, TSW, Texas Style Wrestling, KFW Wrestling, NWA's New Mexico, otherwise known as Duke City Championship Wrestling, Fight the World Wrestling as well. Stars are still being decided on who's going to participate in that event, and the bracket's still to be set, and that's going to be coming up very, very soon. But you know what? Tickets are on sale right this second. Go to HarleyRace.com. Get your tickets now. Don't wait. I'm telling you. Listen to Sarge here. Don't wait on getting tickets to this event. This is going to be huge. Also on that day, HT Daniels, it was announced. It was announced earlier this week on WLW's Facebook page that former UFC welterweight champion from the days of when the company was just taking off, of course I'm speaking about Matt Hughes, is going to be in attendance, and there's going to be a meet and greet with him as well. Make sure you all keep an eye on WLW's social media, HarleyRace.com and Facebook and all the other medias that are out there for World League Wrestling, because that info will be announced very, very soon for that meet and greet for Matt Hughes. Just huge stuff going on.
I know
huge stuff.
The boss is excited about Matt Hughes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We had him on about a week and a half ago, and you know, he was going on and on and on about this special guest that's coming. And we just found out earlier this week, it is actually Matt Hughes coming. It's going to be very cool, very awesome to see. Again, get your tickets, HarleyRace.com. Do not wait. Get them. You don't want to be on the outside looking in, wondering what's going on that day. This is huge. Of course, also, the first and the last Saturday of each and every single month now, for the foreseeable future, until it goes to every single weekend, it'll be NWA's World League Wrestling Showdown on KPLR TV, CW11. The first time local wrestling has been on local St. Louis airwaves, television airwaves, in 43 years. It's a long time to wait. It's a long time to wait, but thank God we've got it now. But then also, on Thursdays, if you miss it on Saturday, okay, not a problem. If you forgot to set your DVR, okay, not a problem. Go to Fox 2 STL Plus, and you'll be able to see the episode that you missed on Thursday nights at 8:30 p.m. HD Daniels.
On the Fox 2 St. Louis app.
That's right.
We're getting out there.
It is huge, huge stuff going on. We've got Luke Roberts. We've got James Harris.
Hi.
We've got John.
Heyo.
Heyo. That's a big old yeet for you, my friend.
112.
You thought we were going to stop.
I was hoping.
Hold on.
I was hoping.
We had that teaser at the end of the last segment. Scared to read his glasses?
Huh?
You scared to read his glasses?
Yeah. T-E-E-Y. K.
Yeah, he's all kinds of backwards. And that's how he usually is all kinds of backwards. He's all kinds of backwards, my friends. You know, that's 112.
112.
Yeet, 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 make it 115.
Nice.
115, do we hear 120? 120, 120.
We'll get there.
There's the 120, ladies and gentlemen. We have achieved my goal earlier on in the program. 1 yeet per minute of the show right here on KYRO and all of the great social media outlets that carry this broadcast.
And now it's done.
And of course,
we got a double last year's. That was 62. We need 124, don't we?
oh, we'll get there.
And just as a reminder, make it a point to put out there on social media in hour number 2, whether you're following us on Facebook or on YouTube, put out the hashtag Yeet. We're going to see if we can break that record. We're going to shatter that record here today on the program.
We are going to do that.
And you know one thing too, Sarge, you were talking about before, you're talking about the Territory Classic. Had an opportunity, I've met several of the individuals involved with several of those promotions, had an opportunity to meet Joe and AJ Kazana, 2 great individuals. Also want to give a shout out to my longtime friend, he's affiliated with NWA New Mexico, Duke City Championship Wrestling, the one, the only, Fred Slow. And I'm going to tell you right now, the Harley Race Arena is one of those places that you definitely have to go, because of just the history that's in that building.
Right.
That's like when you go to in St. Louis downtown, you go to the South Broadway Athletic Club. There's a history, there's a story behind it. I'm going to tell you right now, if you haven't had a chance to check out NWA Duke City Championship Wrestling or NWA New Mexico, check them out. A lot of their events are a place called the El Rey Theater, and the El Rey Theater is very quickly becoming a staple for professional wrestling in the Southwest. And again, they're going to be having their talent, their competitors coming in as a part of the Territory Classic in August, I do believe, and make it a point to check them out. It's going to be a great night of pro wrestling. And you know what? Heard at the top of the segment, top of the hour. Buy your tickets for upcoming WLW events. And while you're at it, while you're online, while you're buying tickets, make it a point, www.istlwhof.com to purchase your ticket for the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame on Sunday, July 19th.
And then, of course, that's going to be at the Andre Banquet Center.
Correct. 4254 Telegraph Road in St. Louis.
He was reading my mind. You see how that works over here,
I know.
Superfan? You see how that works?
I don't. Not really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I know.
You know, I gave him a compliment on his shirt a little bit ago, and now he's giving shade. That's not
That's Superfan for you.
Well, you know something though, I'm going to say right now. We've been giving HD a little bit of shade because we've been talking about all the feed on Facebook, and YouTube really has been kind of popping a few of them out here. We had one right near the end of the last hour, and it came, I think it was, we were talking about from Marty?
Martin.
Yeah, if you want to go ahead and bring that up.
Which part? Keon? Or?
Anything you want to bring up.
Oh, about you.
Either or. I mean,
Okay,
I'm not one to rest on my laurels, but I think the statement about Keon very much holds true.
Hold on.
Ladies and gentlemen, H.C. Daniels doing the hard
Live
work here.
radio, my friends.
Where did it go? Anyway, he called you Jimmy Hart. Called you better than Jimmy Hart. Where did that go?
I wish I had
It's
his
missing.
jacket budget, because a lot of those jackets were really, really cool. That's what we need to do. We need to get Jim Harris a
Here we
jacket
go.
like that.
Luke is better than Jimmy Hart. That's not a glaze either, because he's been working hard for St. Louis Wrestling as long as I can remember.
What's a glaze?
I don't know.
He's calling
It's
him-
how you get your donuts.
And then he said Keon was an amazing human being. I miss him a lot. And then there's other comments, but we will get there.
Oh, really?
When we get to the subject matter.
That is
Well,
true.
what are those comments? Let's get to that real quick.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we can roll with that.
So we were talking about LA Knight during the break.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Marty says, LA Knight, I put him in the same category as Kurt Hennig. He could carry the main event scene if given the chance. He just doesn't get that opportunity. And Chad Gable is another guy that suffers from that same ailment.
I think before much longer, we're going to see a major push for Chad Gable coming up, like right
Well,
now.
What do you define as major?
I think before much longer, you're going to see him get put into the Intercontinental Championship scene or the U.S. Heavyweight Championship
Well,
scene.
Penta's
One
got to
of the two.
lose for that to happen.
He might lose to Chad Gable.
Babyface
He
for
might,
babyface?
but
I don't
again,
know.
It's not the first time
He's
we've
already
seen
been
it.
at that level. Why are we going, oh, he's going to get pushed to a level? He's already been at that level.
No, you can't. Listen, you can't put anybody in the Roman Reigns level because Roman's going to beat him. You
Right.
can't.
That's why Roman Reigns
Not
needs to
right this
retire. The bloodline needs to go. The whole Uso thing needs to be shut down. And WWE needs to buy people to get creative instead of using it.
I got some bad news for you, my friend. I got some really bad news for you. The bloodline is not going anywhere, and we're going to see the bloodline going on at least until WrestleMania of next year.
I'm sorry we had to break your heart on that because that's probably very well going to happen. But you know something too, based on the reaction, and we were talking about this during the break, the idea of what's been going on in AAA, a promotion that a lot of wrestling fans up until a few months ago really didn't know existed outside of the Mexican markets. But when it comes down to it, the matchup that we have between the original El Grande Americano and the new, I guess you would say, El Grande Americano really cemented. If you look at the reaction that Chad Gable got, losing that matchup, losing the mask, that reaction was amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you right now, when it comes down to it, Chad Gable is going to be one of those that I don't think it's going to be an IC or a US title. I think we see somewhere down the road Gable being definitely a main event level wrestler because he has the same abilities as a Kurt Angle. He doesn't have necessarily as much of a pedigree. He does have a very good pedigree when it comes to wrestling. But when it comes down to it, he's going to wind up being a champion. And then we can go back to the idea of H.G. Daniels' favorite wrestler, LA Knight. And
I thought you were going to go somewhere else.
Oh, no, I'm going to keep that for later in the segment. But when it comes down to it, I think Gable's got a huge upside, but the WWE needs to capitalize on him and soon, and I think they do the same for Chad Gable.
Well, I'll tell you what, Martin Cage isn't wrong though.
No.
Both Chad Gable and LA Knight, both in the WWE anyway, should be former World Heavyweight Champions.
They should be
Both of
former
them.
at this point?
Yes,
Okay.
at least.
All right.
At least one time, at least both of them. And I would dare say a couple of times for Chad Gable. Chad Gable's been around for what, almost a decade now in the WWE itself. And you know the person that I liken him to is none other than when he was in the WWE going by Dolph Ziggler.
Okay. Do you remember when we were driving home from, where were we?
Lathrop?
Lathrop.
Yeah.
And we watched the ending of that match. You remember what I said about his little speech?
What did you say?
It reminded me of Rocky's speech from Rocky IV.
Yep.
I don't know if I've heard anybody compare it to that. It was like, if I can change and you can change, then
We all
both
can change.
And it did that instantly over babyface, like immediately. I really like that.
So Chad Gable on Monday Night Raw and on SmackDown has been going around and apologizing to certain luchadors and and all that kind of stuff. But Rey Mysterio had said something very interesting, that he needed to go and apologize to at least one more person, a big person. Who was that person he was talking about? HD Daniels.
Rey Mysterio needs to apologize.
No. Rey Mysterio said that to Chad Gable, that he needed to do that. Do you know who he's talking about?
Yeah, it'd be Otis.
Otis.
Well, seriously,
Otis isn't a luchador.
No, but he was saying because they were talking about making apologies, and
To
he said you've made all your apologies to
now I know what you're
luchadors.
talking about. Okay.
To me, it sounded like you have to go apologize to other people, not just luchadors.
No, I got luchadors. I know what I forgot, but yeah, I remember. I didn't get Otis out of that.
Well, by the same token, too, though, if you're going to apologize to Otis, then you need to apologize to Akira Tozawa, and you need to apologize to Maxine Dupree.
That's the name I was going to bring up, was Maxine Dupree, because we saw a slight interaction from Monday Night Raw with Chad Gable walking through the hallways after he was talking with Rey Mysterio, and I believe it was Dragon Lee, and he stopped just for a second because Maxine Dupree was standing there with Austin Theory. You know what? I don't know if I would really want to go over and talk to Maxine Dupree if she's talking to Austin Theory. She could be a new member of the Vision. She could slap him in the next week.
Is that a bad thing?
It could be.
That could be a great thing. Girl?
Hey.
There you go. Very true, very true. And you know something? If you want to hear more story time from HD Daniels, make it a point, hashtag story time. And
What did I do now?
No, you're telling a story about Lathrop. You're talking about the story about Lathrop. We need to have, I think that should be a new segment of the show, story time with HD Daniels. It would be an instant ratings draw, as we say in the world of professional wrestling. It would be a ratings draw. Story time with H.T. Daniels right here on Uncensored Wrestling Talk. Let's make it happen.
Book it.
Okay.
Anything else from Martin Kadich or anybody else on the YouTube there?
Yeah, what did he say? He made his comments about LA Knight and Chad Gable being worthy of being in the main event. However, adding more people in the main event lessens the quality of the main event.
This is true too. But then again, like we were saying with Roman Reigns, even if you put him into a program with Cody Rhodes isn't losing right now either.
Cody Rhodes could lose way more than Roman could. He could afford to.
I don't know. I'm in the boat right now of both Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes are not going to be losing their titles for a very, very, very long time.
Cody is more valuable as a chaser.
Ooh.
You know something, HD? I'm gonna take a little different spin on this, and Sarge, I think I may actually be taking a different spin from you here. I go back to the days of the territories, and yeah, maybe it's because I'm of that older mindset. But when it comes down to it, you look at it in the territory days, and I know John can talk about it, I know Jim can talk about it. When you have the territory days, you had countless wrestlers across countless territories that were all chasing the World Heavyweight Champion.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, you have television. We talked about it before we came on the air, about how there is so much wrestling television that's available right now for the wrestling fan. In this day and age, where everybody talks about who's the next John Cena, who's the next Cody Rhodes, who's the next Roman Reigns, so on and so forth, why doesn't the WWE or multiple promotions take the opportunity and build multiple stars in the chase for that championship? Because instead of, you always look at the question of one person being the next top guy. Why can't you have Jey Uso chasing the title? You have Sami Zayn chasing the title. You have Gunther chasing the title. You could have a Chad Gable chasing the title. You could have an LA Knight chasing the championship. And you have 5 or 6 different people who are all going after Cody Rhodes for that championship. And all of those individuals are main event caliber athletes.
And before long, we'll have a 6-man match inside Hell in a Cell, like we did many, 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 many years ago, and then it's done and it's over.
Can you imagine a match between LA Knight and Chad Gable, though? Tell
That
me
would be
that would
amazing.
be a classic.
That would be a classic between LA Knight and
That's
Chad
only
Gable.
if WWE would actually let them wrestle.
True. That is a very valid point.
You know, I'll say this. With WWE, they do have a bad habit of not letting their wrestlers wrestle. It's just the bottom line of it.
When it comes down to it, all they do is they promo, and then throw out a 15-minute walk to the ring and a 3-minute match.
And don't forget your 7 minutes of commercials.
Very true. Well, now on Netflix, since they're on Netflix on Monday Night Raws, every time they go to a commercial break, you are guaranteed of 3 minutes of ads. 3 minutes. Every single time.
What was the last match you guys liked in WWE then?
You know, I can't see anything topping right now Mask versus Mask. El Grande Americano versus the original.
Okay.
El Grande
Big Raw or SmackDown?
Right. On Raw or SmackDown.
Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to say this right here, right now. Friday Night SmackDown had a very, very awesome match between Jey Uso and Javon Evans, the semifinals of the King of the Ring tournament.
Javon carried it.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't know about that one there,
Just had to
pal.
poke the
I think
bear.
you've let your, I think you've let your Yeet syndrome,
Can't stand the guy.
derangement syndrome get to the better of you.
Well, wait a minute. This would be a perfect time for it, though, too. And you know what? We could talk about it now. And I think we're coming pretty close to a break. We can talk about it after the break, too.
That's a good segue. I don't like this guy.
You want to replace Luke with us too? He knows how to do
everything.
Well, we can't replace H.G. Daniels because of the story time with H.G. Daniels. Sarge, it's all yours, my friend.
And how many seconds do we have for break?
Could it be 59?
And it starts right now.
Welcome to MegaNet. For any different customer service, press 2. For confusing pricing, press 3.
We don't do radio.
For expected run wait time, pay on
You're ready.
Facebook, Tricia,
Where there was
Gary
frustration,
Williams,
now
and some
there's
of them.
satisfaction.
Hello, this is Helen.
Nice wife.
Yeah, we need,
I can update a count.
you guys are gonna have to count the eats online,
Endless
guys.
stores of local
I'm just here in
vegan, veteran owned
studio.
traditional
She
store
gave us
downtown
5.
Troy.
Okay, so we're at 119.
Providing great customer service. Their brands include Red Wing, Irish Setter, Works, Birkenstock, Brooks, Merrill, New Balance, Skechers, Thoroughgood, as well as Super Clean insoles. State-of-the-art 3D foot scanner to ensure you get just the right insoles for you. Finley Shoe Store.
I know. I'm kind of worried about it now. It's starting to over with 1 or 2 people, but now
Lights are going live. Well, welcome back. Hour number 2, well underway. We are live inside the Gateway Fiber studio of News Radio 105.3 FM, 1280 AM, KYRO. Of course, we are also live on our streams, Facebook and the YouTube channel, Uncensored Wrestling Talk. Type it in, get in there, talk with us, give us your comments, give us your questions. We will definitely say them on the air. And if it's not cleaned up, we'll clean it up. Right, HD Daniel?
That's true. So we have a new listener, I believe, at AJ's Board 11.
Okay.
Awesome. Unless that's Marty's AJ.
Could be. Never know.
Javon deserved to win that one. He's young, and Oba, Javon would have been a much better match in my opinion.
Well, I tell you, in NXT, Javon Evans gave Obafemi all kinds of problems. I mean, he didn't get the win over Obafemi, of course, but he did give him all kinds of slack. And Superfan's just going to sit there and stay quiet.
So that is AJ also. Okay, all right.
No, seriously, I mean, that would have been a much better match. It would have been a more believable match. Everybody knows what's going to go on between Oba and Jay. The Bloodline's going to get involved. Jay's going to win.
Wrong.
I think Brock
You know what's
Lesnar's
going to happen?
interfere.
Exactly. I've been saying it for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks upon months.
Well, what if all of the above?
What do you think the whisper was to
Hang
take
on,
a 5-2?
Superfan. Hang on.
It was
time out
clear-
and freeze. I
No,
said
I
it
won't
for
move over.
months. All the microphones are off now except for mine. I have said it for months that it was going to be Obafemi and Jey Uso in the finals, and that it was going to be Brock Lesnar was going to get involved and cause Obafemi to lose, and that will set up number 3 between Obafemi and Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, and it doesn't matter which night they do it, night 1 or night 2. It should be like a night 2 event, in my opinion.
More
But
main event.
that's just saying. Go ahead.
So when it actually becomes
Proceed.
the Bloodline that causes the loss for Obafemi, are you going to eat your words?
No, I'll yeet. I'll yeet the words. Yeet,
What if all
yeet.
of the above happens?
There you go. That's what probably.
I don't think so. I really don't think that the Bloodline is going to get involved in this.
Oh, please.
They haven't gotten involved in it so far.
I'm going to defend my broadcast colleague here. With everything that's going on and all this restructuring, rebuilding of the Bloodline, I mean, again, you look at it that way. I'm not saying Brock's not going to be in the picture, because Brock's going to be in the picture. I mean, given what's there, SummerSlam, I believe, is in Minneapolis.
Yep.
It makes all the sense in the world.
Yep.
But again, it may be one of those where the Bloodline gets their say, and then Brock comes in when Oba's hurt. Because that's the one thing you look at. In the first match, Oba pretty much took it to Brock.
I don't think Oba losing by bloodline interference, I think that makes him look weak after all the stuff Oba's been doing.
Mhm.
But again,
Oba can overpower the whole bloodline.
Plus,
right
there
now.
hasn't been
what it's
any
gonna take
interaction
is-
between Obafemi and the Bloodline whatsoever. None up to this point.
Right. I just
Except for if you go back whenever Oba already challenged Roman Reigns to the title
And one thing,
after WrestleMania.
yes.
On the after show, yeah.
He made mention of it, of course, but if you're not making, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, a little bit about it, if you're not gunning for the world championship, what are you doing? And we were talking about maybe having multiple people getting into that world title picture, whether it be for Roman Reigns or for Cody Rhodes?
You know, though, the one thing you gotta look at when you look at the bloodline, it's being restructured. It's almost like with things called releases and things along those lines. They're trying to streamline it to the ones that they can put their investment into. And right now, the idea, and you make that comment, it gives you the opportunity to where not only do you give Brock Lesnar the chance to compete in front of his hometown crowd, but then the question is, what's next? Because when Brock Lesnar's out of the picture, what happens to an Obafemi? And that's one of those where when it comes down to it, it puts in a perfect opportunity for Obafemi to have his new path in the WWE with going after the bloodline, going after the Roman Reigns and the Jimmy and Jey Usos and Jacob Fatu. That's the match to me. Jacob Fatu and Obafemi.
Absolutely.
That's the match to me.
Absolutely. I would agree 100% with you on that one. 100%. And you know, we were talking about matches. Have there been any really good matches as of late? There was one also from Monday Night Raw, and that was Queen of the Ring semifinals. And you know what? Every time these two ladies get into the ring, it's better than the last time. And of course, I'm speaking about Io Sky and Raquel Rodriguez. Io Sky picking up the win to secure her spot in the finals in that one. But that's another one that and we've said it so many times on this show over the last year and a half. The women just kill it every single time they step in the ring, no matter who it is. But when you get Io Sky and Raquel Rodriguez, it's almost, you can almost stamp instant classic on that particular
So there's
match.
another
every
match
single
that
time.
you liked. There's
Exactly.
another match you liked. So why are we
Sure.
saying that they're not wrestling?
Hold up, I'm going to go ahead and throw the one out here. And again, I'm probably going to get a whole bunch of flack from the followers here on the program. Why doesn't anybody like the match with Cody and Gunther?
Because Gunther's boring.
Wait, hold up. That's where, for once in my life, I'm actually going to disagree with HD. When it comes down to it, what is the second word on the marquee? Professional what?
So Gunther is a wrestler.
Hold up, no, hold up. Answer my question. Professional what?
Wrestling with an R.
Well, he took it a completely different avenue I wasn't expecting on that one. But when it comes down to it, when you want to look at somebody who I view to be not only a complete wrestler and a throwback wrestler, but an individual who could very well be the future of the company, and that's Gunther. And to me, even though some people say he is bland, he is boring, the fact is, I go back to the very first time he was on WWE programming, back in NXT, wrestled Jack Stars. Go look it up, by the way. I don't know if it's going to be on, what it's going to be on, considering all the changes as of late. But when he goes out there and just decimates him, every time he turns around, Gunther was there. To me, I look at it that, brought up right, Gunther could be at a level in the States with a WWE type machine behind him to be on a level of a Roller Barraco or a Johnny Saint.
Interesting. Very interesting. H.C. Daniels, any comments on that? Hey, real quick, from the Facebook chat, all day Aiden Riley, the biggest little dog in World League Wrestling, says, just want to give a shout out to HD and Sarge. Not sure who these other guys are. Is this Hootie and the Blowfish?
Wow!
Oh!
Hold my hand.
Well, all day Aiden Riley, we've got Luke Roberts in the studio. We've got James Harris in the studio. We've got John in the studio, and they're from Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, ISTLWHOF.com, where you can get your tickets for the July 19th event at the Andre Banquet Center when they induct some awesome folks into the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Very true, Sarge. And a matter of fact, the ticket values $30 in advance, $35 at the door, and say, well, that's a little bit high. But you gotta understand what you're gonna get for that $30. You're gonna get an opportunity to have a great meal, a great catered meal. You're gonna have an opportunity to see artifacts from professional wrestling, whether it is the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame Championship belt that's here in studio this afternoon, to go along with the belt that you have here in studio. 2 belts right here in the KYRO studios. But when it comes down to it, I mean, you're going to get that. You're going to get to look at different artifacts of wrestling. You're going to have the opportunity to see the induction. And as an extra added bonus, and we just mentioned this in the last few days, you're going to have a live streaming pre-show and post-show to go along with it as well. And a matter of fact, I want to take just a minute here. The Independent St. Louis Hall of Fame has been gaining tons of traction. To give you an idea, since we announced the 2026 inductees, we have had individuals from 4 different countries outside of the U.S. Sorry, 5. I forgot one on my list here. We have Vance, Nevada. Those are familiar with the California Club out of Canada. You have, of course, Karim Brigante, KB Violence, very familiar in the WLW.
He's coming?
No, he's not coming. But
I was about to have a connection here.
And he was going to make it a point to be here. He would love to be here.
We miss Kareem.
Yeah, he's showing his support. Mad Dog Darty from China has shared his support. My good friend, the artist formerly known as Lockie, and for the record, I talked with him earlier on. Lockie, sorry, but Australia did lose in World Cup action to the USA. Sorry about that. But again, I have a feeling that they'll probably wind up seeing each other again when we get into actual.
What was that score? 2-0. And they better be very, very careful because Australia and Paraguay are both tied with 3 points at the moment. So Australia may not even make it to the knockout round.
Well, for the record, that was everybody else in the studio.
They could get a hard chair shot.
I'm hoping that they do get to match up again when it comes to the knockout round. And also, I want to give a shout out to an individual who really stepped up in the last few days to support a gentleman by the name of Bobby Salazar. A lot of people don't know who he is. He's an up-and-coming referee in the UK. And we had an opportunity to speak with him just a couple of short days ago. Matter of fact, he let me know he is tuning into the program as we speak. And to give you an idea, that shows you right there how important the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame is. People are starting to see the legacy of St. Louis. They look at the things, they look at the days of the Sam Mushnicks and the Larry Matisics, among others. And now you're to a point where you're getting the opportunity to see the independent wrestlers, not just of today, but of yesteryear as well, to be able to come forward and show why St. Louis is that sports hub, especially for the
I don't care what
wrestling.
anybody says. St. Louis wrestling is still the mecca of professional wrestling in this country right now. And I dare say, as far as independents go, in the world.
I'd say right now, I agree with you, Sarge. It's the idea where there are so many great wrestling promotions here in the St. Louis area. When you talk about, and I mean, again, I could run for the rest of the show. You talk about WLW, MMWA, SICW, Dynamo Pro Wrestling, New Genesis Wrestling, CHWA. You talk about IEW. You talk about St. Louis Anarchy. You talk about Midwest Throwdown. You talk about, I mean, I could go on the rest of the show.
You want the belt to real?
No, if they want to see the belt, they can make it a point to come out and check us out, because we're going to be at several live events before the Hall of Fame, and they can also make it a point to get their ticket and come out, and they get their own picture with the belt on Sunday, July 19th.
There you go.
And you know what, Sarge? It looks like you've got somebody on the Facebook that's going to add some more yeets to our yeet total, just to make our good friend Tim here happy. I think now we're like 120. I think we're like 120 now. So.
But you can't read
Did
them
you
off
count
there
the 4
and
units that I said a little
So
bit
that's
ago?
double dipping.
Oh, wait, that's 121.
We're at 124.
124.
We have doubled exactly to what we did the last time that we had you guys on. We'll just make it an even 125 real quick. Yeet.
There you go.
125.
I don't think
You know,
I
on
said 10.
on the Facebook chat room, Devin James, very interestingly, all caps, says screw Lucky.
Wow. Well, I got to tell you right now, and a lot of people don't know this, there's a lot of, how do you say, a lot of history between those two individuals. I'm going to tell you right now, personally, inside the ring, I had to officiate a match where he wound up winning the Fighting for Autism U.S. Championship, again, under some very dubious circumstances. Again, a match that HD doesn't let me live down because, unfortunately, I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. But when it comes down to it, you cannot discredit Lockie's ability inside the ring. And again, Devin's opinion is strictly Devin's opinion. But when it comes down to it, I would pay if Devin were going to make it a point to step inside the squared circle and get out his frustrations against Lockie. I would definitely pay for a ticket to see that match. I truly would.
Very cool. Hey, guess what? We're up against the very last break of the second hour of Uncensored Wrestling Talk. We're gonna go ahead and take that right now, so that way we have more time on the backside of the commercials to go to the top of the hour. So we're gonna go ahead and do that right now, and we will be back in just a little bit.
He said backside.
I know he said backside.
You say that on the radio.
And I'm
We just went there, didn't we?
King, we don't have one.
Don't bring up Roxy's again.
Nope.
They got backsides for days.
Hey, if you really don't sell promotion to other dealerships, they're BS.
Don't know why.
Most of the time they're routing to your PayPal somewhere,
What did you
and we
do?
don't play those
People
games.
said-
We're not about sales, we're about true savings. I like that. No
Aiden had a
sales,
bowl
just
of
savings.
nails
You're
for
saying come in, check out the inventory, and
Really?
you guys will find that your
Nail
price
nails?
Definitely you,
is
Tim?
He wants to take Correct. We've got so much great
Nail
inventory
nails
in the lot right
starting?
now.
Oh.
Many vehicles starting at $15,000 or lower, and with our great prices, we're confident we can get you set up the right way. You
All
heard
day,
it.
Aiden
Great
Riley
pricing,
and
great
Martin
inventory, great
Cadiz are
people
going
to work
back
with.
and
There's a
forth.
reason Mountain Motor
Be
Company
careful,
has
Aiden
1,000
Riley.
five-star reviews.
You're
Please
talking to my
look for just
my
any
broadcast
dealership.
partner on
And
Showdown right now,
good guy
and
to
former
try.
senior official for World League Wrestling.
And all around good guy.
Exactly.
Who has no back down in him.
Exactly.
Wasn't that a musical song? I
Don
won't back
Julio's
down.
Mexican restaurant in the Winfield Plaza and Don Julio's Taco
That's Marty
Express
loves.
at number 3 Troy Center.
Because Marty
Set the
tosses the
standard
ball
for
for
authentic Mexican food and great drinks.
Wow, that's sharp in here all of a sudden.
Great locations.
Nico Shansky's
Stop
put
in
it
or order online for carry-out at
that's
DonJuliosWinfield.com
the whole
or
difference. I think we need to
DonJuliosTroy.com.
back it up by
said
half.
on the
Don
air.
Julio's Mexican restaurant in the Winfield Plaza
Then
and
you
Don Julio's Taco
couldn't
Express
count
at
anything
number
before
3
the show,
Troy
or-
Center. And don't forget, buy one,
What,
get
you
one.
were at-
Oh, he's talking it down now. Oh, time to go now.
I mean, if you don't think we got enough, we can do 5 in a row.
Veteran owned and operated. Bringing great authentic
I don't
Mexican
know how
food
many
home
are on
to
the YouTube
Lincoln
or
County.
Facebook or anything.
Oh, no, there actually hasn't been any time to use
Oh.
on the YouTube.
Oh, wait,
Facebook.
well, I just kind of hope that the heavy rain stays away because I want to win some points
You
on
can
my
now
way
manage
home.
your
I
accounts,
gotta
check
drive to Hart
balances,
now.
transfer funds, and
My
pay
wife
bills
is
all
in
from the
love,
palm of
and
your
I am
hand.
too with the
Visit us
river
online at
And I go there and pick up
pbtsc.net for more information
port
and to
stakes,
start
and then I
using
told
mobile
Jim,
banking.
if you
People
haven't
bank and
been there,
trust.
go.
Hometown
They have
banking
port
the way it
stakes
should
big
be.
as a giant
Follow us
lake.
on Facebook and Twitter. Member
Definitely a
FDIC.
good
Equal housing lender.
Operating Engineers Local 513 proud to support the
Come on,
Missouri
it's all
Tigers,
like
St.
people
Louis
warm
Blues,
up.
Kansas City Chiefs, and
I mean,
local
that'd be
high
a
school
good
sports
solid
on News
hour.
Radio KYRO. The Local 513 training program at Highway 61 and F is now accepting apprenticeship applications to build your future. Motor grader, backhoe, crane operation, and maintenance programs earn college credits and employment as an operator. Visit the Local 513 training program website at IUOE513.com and start building your future
Last
today.
commercial coming up.
Family Shoe Store is a local family and veteran-owned tradition in historic downtown.
Oh,
Troy,
Wild
Missouri,
Man, Jeff
dedicated to
Wild.
serving the local community and providing great customer service. Their brands include Red Wing, Irish Setter, Works, Birkenstock, Brooks, Merrill, New Balance, Skechers,
Like I said,
as well
toss
as
them the ball.
Super Fleet insoles, state-of-the-art 3D foot scanner to ensure you get just the right insoles for you. Family Shoe Store providing men's and women's quality footwear in Lincoln County area since 1947. Finley Shoes, 636-528-8247.
And the mics are going live. We are live inside the Gateway Fiber Studio of News Radio 105.3 FM, 1280 AM, KYRO. Of course, also live on the Facebook and the YouTube channel. Type in Uncensored Wrestling Talk. Join us there. You can interact with us in the chat rooms. And also, in about 15 minutes, at the top of the hour, when we end on the radio side, we'll keep going on the Facebook and the YouTube channel for a little bit longer.
That works for us. And like, you know what? I was just looking here and I was following along on the wonderful YouTube feed. And if you haven't had a chance to check us out on YouTube, check it out on YouTube. I think we have a new possible pairing that needs to be brought up. But again, I don't know if it's going to be feasible financially. We have, who's this Aiden guy again?
All
Riley.
day Aiden Riley, the biggest little dog in World League Wrestling.
Tossing the ball. Tossing the ball.
I got it. Aiden Riley and Manager Tim. Let's make it happen, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know if that
That's like mixing oil and gasoline and lighting it.
Yeah, but you know, same token too, though. That can create fire. That creates an explosion. That creates that. This guy's good for creating explosions.
And then we wouldn't have Superfan on the show anymore whatsoever.
Well, no, his price would go up. That's what it would be. He would need to have his own studio. He would need to have his own chair.
Do you know where his studio would be? It would be coming to you from a local hospital inside of a local hospital room as he's laid up in the bed.
I don't know, he could be like the dog catcher gimmick or something.
And on that note, we're moving right along here into the last segment of the show.
You know, we were talking about great matches for this week. There's another one I'm going to bring up from NXT, and again, the women, Jada Parker, and of course, you know, going up against this particular person, she lost by submission. But talking about Natty,
Yeah. Natty is in my top 5 women wrestlers in the world.
absolutely.
It's just a shame that they don't do anything with her, and I'm actually surprised she won because her role now is to lose. That's what she gets paid for.
Her role is not to lose. Her role is to make the other women shine.
And she does that by losing.
Well, here's
Most of
one
the
to look
time.
at, and I want to make a comparison, and I want to throw a question to HD. First of all, would you say that Natty, in her role today, is the Fit Finley or William Regal of the WWE?
It's a good comparison. Probably yes.
My second question, HD, you talk about her being one of the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say, based on her history, her track record, her in-ring ability, her training, the complete package, would you say that Natty Neidhart is one of the 5 greatest women's wrestlers ever?
Oh, ever? Based on statistics, probably not. Just based on like if you wrote it down on paper.
Well, here's the idea, though, Ishii, and you yourself brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take wins and losses aside.
Top 3.
I mean, I kind of had a 2-part answer. Like, statistically wise, no. People like Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Alexa Bliss, they've all won more titles than her. But realistically, in real life, she's up there. I don't know, would you say top 5 or would you
Top
say
5.
I don't
Sarge
know.
said top
That's
3.
tough. That's tough.
And it is tough.
Yeah.
It is tough.
Tim, I want to throw this to you, too. Would you say top 5?
I think so, actually, just because of her ability, not only to train, but we talk a lot about passing it along. Right now, that's her job, is to pass along her knowledge and give people the confidence to do this in the ring. And you really can't commend anybody more than her right now of passing along that knowledge, passing along the Heart Foundation, the dungeon workout.
I just wish they'd do more with her.
Well, and I just want to throw this back out here, and then we can move on here. Think about this. Natty versus Fabulous Moolah.
Sure.
Natty and Penny Banner. Natty and Mildred Burke.
Against the first 2 names, Natty wins hands down. Hands down.
So you're
Against Mildred Burke, it might be a little bit more of a problem for Natty, but for those first 2 names, hands down.
Ooh.
And the only reason why I say that is because she's got, 12 professional business that she learned from, and to include her grandfather as well. One of the last ones to come out of the Heart Dungeon.
Yeah, but again, you're taking on a different tangent, though, Sarge. It's the idea when you get inside the squared circle, it's 1v1. And while she's got all this knowledge, I can agree with you on Moolah. It'd be a great matchup. I'd pay for a ticket. I think every person in this room would pay for a ticket for that match.
Sure.
But to me, I look at it from the idea of Penny Banner. No, I don't think so.
I don't know.
Same token to Mildred Burke.
That's the one I'm wavering on.
Burke and Natty, that would be, to me, one of the greatest women's matches ever. And that would be something that if wrestling fans had the opportunity, I mean, again, nowadays, given everything that's there, it would never physically happen.
AI could do it.
See,
It'll be
don't even get us
Just like
started.
in Rocky Five.
You know, I said
Rocky
top
six.
three,
Rocky six.
and there's no in no certain order here, but Natty, Mildred Burke, and a lot of people don't agree with me, but Charlotte Flair.
I agree with you on Charlotte. She's up there.
Charlotte will eventually be, to me, number one.
Eventually.
Eventually.
Well, as far as championships go, if like HD was talking a few moments ago, just numbers, she's already number one.
Right. But, I mean, everybody kind of forgets about Alundra Blaze.
Alundra Blaze, Medusa was quite good in her day. I'm not taking anything from her whatsoever.
She didn't have the competition she needed. It was what I felt during her day.
And that could be very well. That could be very well the truth. But at the same time, how would she fare against somebody like Natty in the ring? Somebody like Charlotte Flair in the ring? Going even further back, like Penny Lane or Mildred Burke, or even, for that matter, the Fabulous Moolah.
I don't know, but to me, that was the one thing knock that I have on Alundra Blaze is she didn't have the competition at the time that Natty's had. But would I like to see Alundra Blaze and Natty? Absolutely.
Sure.
Well, you know one thing here, gentlemen, we talk about this. I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of champions who've held a lot of championship belts.
Mm-hmm.
Natty is one of those that, when it comes to championship gold, really hasn't been given the opportunity.
You're not wrong.
To be up in those levels.
You're not wrong.
And
it's a shame.
It is a shame. I agree.
And when it come down and look at it, and then you got to look at the idea, and I was just kind of going back and looking at some things here. Another one that I definitely want to put out there, and a lot of people are going to be surprised in the name I'm going to throw out, just because of her toughness, her grit.
Santina?
No, not Santina. Jacqueline.
Jacqueline, yeah.
Okay.
That's another one where, I mean, again, if we had the opportunity to have Natty and Jacqueline, that would be another match that I would absolutely love to watch. And the reason why is because Natty will go out there and take nothing from anybody. Jackie would take nothing from anybody.
I'll give you another name that I think would be a great match with Natty. And I'm not sure, maybe they did back in the day. I don't remember. But Jazz.
I don't
Jazz.
think Natty and Jazz ever wrestled.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so. To me, I mean, and I've had the opportunity to be on events with Jazz, and again, phenomenal in-ring competitor. I look at it from the point of view with Jackie. When she was Miss Texas, she would go out there, wrestle anybody, and you knew you were in a fight when it came down to wrestling her. And I think her, and especially when you're seeing a lot of these things, like when Natty's going to like Josh Barnett's Bloodsport and wrestling the likes of Shayna Baszler, among others. Natty is one of those, anybody who gets in the ring, and I'll just say it this way. To me, Natty is a lot like a Ric Flair. Anybody who gets in the ring with Natty Neidhart is going to be a better competitor when they walk out of that ring. And I'm going to tell you right now, Jada Parker needs to make sure that she thanks Natty Neidhart for the opportunity to be in the ring with her.
I'm going to say something really, really controversial now.
Oh. Eat.
Natty Neidhart, you just brought up the name of Ric Flair. Natty Neidhart's matches compared to Ric Flair's matches, Ric Flair, I'm sorry, you can go back and look at all of them. Almost every single one of them is a cookie cutter of the previous match that Ric Flair had. With Natty Neidhart, it's completely different. Every single time that you see her get into the squared circle. Natty Neidhart is better as a wrestler than Ric Flair.
Oh my goodness, Sergeant.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, it was great being here. We'll see you next week. But when it comes down to it, though, I mean, again, that's a pretty bold statement. But I mean, again, you're also going to have to weigh into consideration, especially if you're going early to mid-'80s, Flair could wrestle a very similar match because he was in the territory days.
Sure.
Natty's constantly been under the eye of the television.
Sure.
So, I mean, again, I could see what's there. That's one of the things that got me hooked into pro wrestling, was watching pro wrestling late 70s, early 80s, when you had Georgia Championship Wrestling. And I'm not talking about the days when it was the Rock and Rolls against the Midnight Express. We're talking about Magnum TA and Dusty Rhodes and the Four Horsemen that way. But the idea of the likes of a Thunderbolt Patterson, like an Ole Anderson, like a very, 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 very young Magnum TA, among others, that were able to go out there and compete. To me, I look at it, and again, we got to throw the question out there, and we still got a couple other things to talk about here before the top of the hour, and maybe it's a discussion for a later time. Who would you consider to be the greatest wrestler of all time? And that's a discussion that could be a whole episode in itself.
It could be.
But I know we're running up against the top of the hour and the news and the weather and all that. But like I said, that's another question for another time.
And speaking of the weather, we are hearing the thunder going on outside the studio here in Winfield, Missouri. So if you're out and about, please, please, please be careful as you're out there moving around and all this craziness that's going on out there. 50 to 70 mile an hour winds, heavy, heavy rain at times, 2 to 3 inches of rain. We are under a flash flood warning for the entire St. Louis area, and I don't even know exactly when that ends, to be fair.
Simply put, stay safe, everybody.
Exactly. Hey, real quick, one more time, July the 19th, you've got an event going on at Andre's Banquet Center.
For those that want to purchase tickets, istlwhof.com. Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, Sunday, July 19th. The pre-show starts at 11:30, doors open at 12:30. The event starts at 1. $30 buys you a ticket to the event. It also gives you an opportunity to experience our artifacts of St. Louis independent wrestling history. It gets you a great meal, and you get to see the entire induction ceremony. Make it a point to head out to Andre's Banquet Center, 4254 Telegraph Road in St. Louis, Missouri. Again, that 2026 induction class: Butch Fletcher, Big Bad Ben, Marcus Mansfield, Steve Montana, The Beast, Tom Simon, Johnny Ramirez, and Keon Option are all going to be inducted in this year's class. Also, we want to thank our great sponsors: Around the Ropes Radio, the Wrestle Talk Podcast, The Camera Guy, Painter's Dream Productions, Interstate 70 Sports Media, Doomed Outfitters, and all the great wrestling promotions that have jumped on board this year for sponsorship. St. Louis Wrestling, St. Louis Championship Pro Wrestling, the MMWA, New Genesis Wrestling, and Southern Illinois Championship Wrestling. Make it a point to purchase your tickets, and also when you're purchasing your tickets, make it a point to go to HarleyRace.com to purchase your tickets for upcoming WLW events. Gentlemen, it's always an honor and a privilege to be here on KYRO and Uncensored Wrestling Talk. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. And of course, we are going to go on the Facebook and the YouTube side of things. But for the radio side, real quick here, Devin James from the Facebook chat says, perfect weather for Lockheed to go for a drive-in. Whoa. Oh, wow. Somebody don't like Lucky. I wonder. I wonder. For the superfan, the Nematode Nelly himself, for our resident referee, Mr. 123, a Yeet HD Daniels. For Luke Roberts, James Harris, and Mr. John in the back over here for Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. Get your tickets for July the 19th. ISTLWHOF.com. For all these gentlemen in the studio, I am Sar saying thank you so much for the radio side. We are switching on over to the Facebook and the YouTube. See you all next weekend. We go back to bombing.
But as Iran stands to gain access to
Hey, I was trying to get it to get in that last 45, go bing, 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 and done.
That's what we put up with.
I've already know.
Hey, if it was my induction speech, it's mine from last year, it's still going. So
I'm surprised it's not still going. You did an average amount last year.
Oh.
All right.
This has been a great show, gentlemen.
It's been an
Hey,
awesome
they're
show.
talking about TNA.
They are.
You can watch it free on
Roku. Which, by the way, for Facebook and YouTube, for that STL, Fox 2 STL Plus app, it's also on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV for absolutely free.
Free!
And what's better than free? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Oh, man.
Since we haven't really had the chance to get into a whole lot of it yet, the goings on around the world of professional wrestling on your mainstreams, you know, we talked a little bit about the Monday Night Raw results and NXT's results. How about AEW Dynamite, superfan? Team MJF, which consisted of MJF, Kyle Fletcher, Kevin Knight, Kazuchika Okada, Jake Doyle, otherwise known as Jake something, and Andrade El Idolo going up against Team Briscoe. Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, Orange Cassidy, Konosuke Takeshita, and Darby Allin. What a matchup that one was.
Yeah, I mean, it was
chaos from the beginning to the end.
It was chaos. You know, but this whole Mark Briscoe MJF thing, I'm not really buying into it, and it's going to be hard for me to buy into.
I'm not buying into MJF. Bored.
Right. I mean, MJF, you're going to keep him as a champion till All In. And once All In happens, then you're going to drop it to Will. Everybody sees that writing on the wall. But when we're talking wrestling, I think there was actually two great matches from Wednesday night. First one was the Rodito match against Moxley and Daniel Garcia.
Yeah, very, very good.
But the one that's, to me, match of the week, and it hurts my soul to say it.
I was wondering if you were going to say it.
It hurts my soul to say it. Match of the week was Mercedes Moné versus Hazuki.
Hazuki?
Yeah,
Match of the week?
Yeah, man, it was. It really was.
It really was.
I mean, it was a great match, yes.
Well, what was better?
What was better than that match?
You just can't admit that Mercedes had a good match.
No, I had to admit. He said he's okay with it. I just despise Mercedes, and I don't think she's a good wrestler. But I will give it to her.
She's always been a good wrestler.
She's always been a good wrestler, but we've said this before on this show. When she left WWE and then did the NJPW thing for a little bit, and then came into AEW, her first dozen matches in AEW were not all that great.
No.
They really weren't.
This
Now,
one was.
One out of how many? Hopefully it keeps going.
So
hopefully it keeps going.
I think she's like a squirrel who just found a nut, and one night only she actually put on a good match.
Interesting.
That's really interesting.
But it was, I agree, it was a match of the week. And it hurts my soul to say it.
That's unfortunate.
Well, you know, with Bandito, and Brody King getting that win against the Death Riders, it was then announced that Brody King is going to get a shot at John Moxley in that Continental Championship at Forbidden Door.
No, it's Bandito going against
I thought it was Brody King.
No, Banditos gets the shot against John Moxley.
He's already got a title.
I know. Again, my personal opinion, and I really hope this plays out. I hope the dogs get the tag belts at Forbidden Door, just so we can have Brodito come back, have the Hurt Syndicate. This idea of giving Edge and Christian the tag belts just to give it to them, just so they got it. They both need to retire. Let's move on.
They put on good matches. What's going on over here?
No.
I'm gonna defend Tim here. I think while they are putting on good matches, the biggest thing that's keeping those championships on Edge and Christian right now are Christian's promos.
Yeah, he's doing the best promos like of the night.
And again, we can't necessarily share those because
We can now.
We can't now,
Right,
but
we're not on
when it
radio.
but when it comes down to it, though, I mean, again, there's a lot of great tag teams in AEW that are getting an unfair due because
You're an old person hater because you don't like Paige and Breed either.
No, I don't.
Well, you know, I'll look at it this way. If we're going to make that shift to WWE, as far as I'm concerned, and again, I know why there's reasons for what there are. Something about Paige or Paige and the Bellas
Just doesn't work.
Doesn't
I'm
add
the
up
only
for me.
one that likes it.
No, I'm not
Fine.
saying it's
They're just
wrong.
fine.
It doesn't add up to me.
They're doing good matches too. Solid in-ring performances.
They are doing good matches, but it does seem like they were on two separate sides of the spectrum before this.
I have a hard time with that too, because in their era, they
Yeah.
hated each other.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, and then they invite her back as a best friend, you know.
And that's when that happened. I was like, wait, what?
Well, they had that
What?
Total Divas show together, they bonded.
Well, I look at it this way. I'm gonna kind of put it in the HD spin. If you put HD and Luke Roberts together, that's a good combination. We know how each other does things. We know how things
What
are.
are you doing?
I don't know. But when it comes down to it, that's like saying, okay, we have a good chemistry. We know what's going on inside the world of professional wrestling. So let's go ahead and put HD and Tim together.
What are we doing?
Chaos and
Doesn't matter.
Are we making
We can be something. We can be sitting there for 10. We can be sitting there for 10 minutes and saying yeet for all that matters. But when it comes down to it, there's just something about. I mean, again, not discrediting their in-ring ability. They're both really, really good. But just something about the tag team doesn't click with me. I'm not saying that they're not good wrestlers. Right now, they're carrying that division. They're doing a good job. But when it comes down to it, there's something about that team that doesn't click.
All right.
Yeah.
And
I guess the thing that irks me the most is you had better teams, better chemistry, and you threw them out there and you gave them the championship. They didn't even earn it. There's no earning for Paige and
But
Brie
the Bellas
Bella.
earned it.
No, they didn't.
They won they had all that stuff going on.
They had all that stuff going on before Nikki Bella got
And
hurt.
they gave it to them.
And I
They
think
gave
part
it.
of the problem with the whole Nikki and or Brie and Paige thing is everybody in the back of their mind knows that once Nikki is healed, Paige is getting a beat down. That's
Oh,
just
boy.
how it's gonna
But then the
be.
question is who do you put with Paige?
Why does she have to be a tag
She doesn't
champion?
have to be.
Well, no, I'm not looking. She's got to still get her payback.
AJ Lee then.
There you go.
Ooh.
There you go. Talk about a combination.
That
That's
could
a
be
combination
interesting.
that draws more attention than the
Tim
team
won't
that's
like
out
it
there
because
now.
she's old.
You're right. Unless, okay, I'll put it this way. As long as they don't have the belts. Take the belts off.
You know, I beg to differ.
I tell you what, Tim, we'll put it on the first hour of ESPN, okay?
How about something else that happened both on Dynamite and on Collision from last night? Upset victories from Maya World over Sky Blue and then Athena, the Ring of Honor Forever champion.
She kind of came out of nowhere, right?
She has.
Maya World came out of literally nowhere. And
Well,
taken a
I
And ran out of left field.
But she actually has a very strong independence career in Houston out of whatever
reality of wrestling.
reality wrestling. And I'm really happy for her. But I don't know if I mean, you know, that was it. That was
She's got to
the
lose to Mercedes, huh?
yeah. Unfortunately.
Simply put, Athena's going to hold a championship for as long as she
That Ring of Honor?
exists.
Absolutely.
And it's one of those right now. I don't discredit Sky Blue. Sky Blue is phenomenal. I really enjoy watching what Sky Blue does in the ring. I think she's an incredible wrestler. And you give her some more time. I mean, she's still very young. She's I liken her a lot to Roxanne Perez. You give the opportunity, she will deliver. Another one that's kind of been left out in the dark as of late too, Julia Hart. Another one that's very
Well, she
capable.
had to take a back seat to Thekla.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but yeah, that's true.
Do we
That's
dare?
very
Do
true.
we dare call her right now based on what's there? Do we call her the Marty Jannetty, or do we call Sky Blue and Julia Hart the Marty Jannetty?
Ooh, that's tough. That's really rough. Ooh.
I think Julia Hart ends up being the Marty Jannetty on this thing.
Ooh. I don't know. I don't know
think of a
about
better
that.
comparison, but
I just don't know.
maybe well, no.
I mean,
Nice.
look at the
It's okay.
work of Sky Blue right now. I mean, she's killing it.
Yeah.
She has
really
been
is.
killing it.
Yeah.
But you know what? At the same time, so is Julia Hart. She's been killing it too.
I'm not saying, but if you compare the two, I think Sky Blue has put on better performances than Julia has.
Tag
But
team
she-
titles.
The Matt Hardy to the Jeff Hardy, perhaps.
Mm.
Isn't this Athena's first loss in a long while
Yeah.
ago, too?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, that says a
Absolutely.
huge amount.
They're both from the same place, though.
How big would it be if, for somehow, some way, some reason, at Forbidden Door, Maya World defeats Mercedes Moné.
I mean, yeah, that'd be a really, really big deal,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's gonna happen.
But by the same token, too, though, will it get overshadowed by whoever wrestles Thekla?
Whoever wrestles Thekla, whether it be Mercedes Moné or Maya World, at this particular moment,
Or did you mean later
I
that
think
night?
Thekla still
That
picks
night.
up the win.
He's talking about Thekla's stardom upon.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of names thrown around. There's a lot of names
Yeah.
that are also going to be free at that point in time.
But it
that
has
you-
to be stardom, though.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
again, the name that keeps getting bounced around and very well could be on that roster is Kairi Sane.
That name has been thrown around a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, again, that would be a matchup if you just let those two and say go. Yes, please.
Thekla versus Kyrie? Is that a
That would
rumor?
be interesting.
Is that a rumor or something?
I've heard a few of the more mainstream outlets that are saying that.
Yeah,
That would be interesting.
Putting Maya over Mercedes though, that would be as big as a swerve as if you put Roman against Jay for the title. No one would see it coming. No one would, and then to have that victory, that would propel her into stardom.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Sami Zayn for WWE champion.
I'm also really looking forward
I wish.
to when Forbidden Door happens next weekend. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
No.
Why?
I'm going to say this. Did you get Kenny Omega 18 months ago? Did you get Kenny Omega 2 years ago? Yes. As Meltzer would say, 6-7 star match. Now, I don't think that the best bout machine is the best bout machine anymore. You also have to look at the perspective of will, as much as they want to, will Sabre's neck hold up?
Good question too.
It doesn't have to be a 45-minute match, though.
Again,
It
Kenny
can be-
Omega,
it can-
Zack Sabre Jr.
It can be 10 minutes and still be good.
Again, EVP. Is it going to be that way? No.
Nope.
Remember, AEW.
It's going to be at least
8-hour pay-per-view.
It's going to be at least that particular match is going to at least be around about
Half hour.
20 to 25 minutes. 20 to 25
You're
minutes.
right, but Luke's also right that Kenny can't go like he used to.
This is true.
And you don't have to do that anymore. He's done it. He doesn't have to do it anymore.
If you give them, and I'm going to steal a line from Tim here, if you let them go more than 20, 25 minutes, chaos is going to ensue. And I'm going to say it, if anything other than Zack Sabre Jr. and Kenny Omega happens, any kind of interference, other people in the crowd, whatever, you're going to take away from the value of that match.
Every Kenny Omega match goes to the outside, which undervalues his star ratings every time, to me. I could go on and on about that.
Yeah, and like I said, it's just one of those where great match. Forbidden Door is a great concept. I think it really has the potential of being the pay-per-view until the WWE finally decides to get their stuff together and throw a WrestleMania where you've got stuff from AAA and from Evolve.
Well, they're doing their own
NXT.
Forbidden Door, but they own all the doors.
And they might very well own the TNA
Yeah.
door before
That's
much
what I
longer.
heard.
That's another rumor
They're
that's
saying
going on.
TKO is feeding them money, so.
But I mean, if we're saying, you know, who's to say Kenny Omega doesn't have a 6-7 star match just like Mercedes did this past week on the match of the week? You know, no one expected that from Mercedes.
It's true.
And you know, Kenny can pull it out if you got the spotlight and you got an opponent you're familiar with. There is no ceiling. There's only what you can do.
Yeah.
But on a rest hold, they can go 45 minutes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey, it worked. It worked in the days of the past, and that's one that I actually sent a couple of the wrestlers that I've worked with. It was who was it? It was Desmond Carpentier, and they're like, he had a headlock for 5 minutes. I mean, granted, it's a different
Was
era,
Gunther
but
in the match?
could have been.
Hey, for all of you that are on the Facebook and the YouTube, make sure you check out the Discord channel, Uncensored Wrestling Talk Show. H.G. Daniels has put the link to that in both the YouTube and the Facebook chat rooms. You know, later on this week, we will give our predictions on WWE's Night of Champions, which will be next Saturday, and it's a different time start for this one since they're coming to us from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. It'll be a 1 o'clock Eastern, 12 o'clock noon start time on Saturday for that. And you can catch that on the ESPN app, of course. Before we get out of here, I do want to jump into the dirt sheets just a little bit here. Former TNA world champ, and I don't know why it's saying former, I didn't think he lost the belt yet. Has he lost the belt?
Santana?
Yeah, he hasn't lost the belt yet. Why are they saying former?
Well, he is a former, but he's also a current.
And Slammiversary.
These guys. Not this guy, but these guys.
Figure that one out.
TNA World Champ Mike Santana's exit has been rumored, with WWE said to be interested in signing him. PW Insider recently specified that Santana's TNA deal is up in mid-July. WrestleVotes Radio and Fightful Select also heard that WWE is keeping tabs on Santana. It's not clear what brand he'd start on, NXT, but the hope would be to have him on Raw or SmackDown by the end of this year. Number one, do you think WWE signs Mike Santana? But number two, more importantly, should Mike Santana go to the WWE and get lost in the shuffle?
Mike Santana should go for whatever's financially best for him and his family.
True.
If that's WWE, that's cool, but he's not gonna, I do not foresee a future of Mike Santana championships or any sort of momentum whatsoever in the WWE. I think he'll just get lost.
I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid of that as well. I really am. And that's somebody that should not be lost in the shuffle.
You know, there's a great story that can be had with Mike Santana. We saw that when he won the championship. Mike Santana has all the potential in the world to be a main event player. But the only problem is right now, and it goes back to what we were talking about earlier on, Mike Santana is one of those where you get him into a situation where there's multiple people all gunning for the same championship. That being, right now, get him into a U.S. title picture, get him into an Intercontinental title picture, get him into something where there's multiple people so he can get that experience, get those reps in, and it's there. I agree with HG. You got to go where it's financially feasible, but right now, he's going to have to be able to go from big fish, little pond to minnow in the ocean.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to find a way to deliver, and he's going to have to find a way to deliver quick.
But I think it's going to get swallowed up.
Well, who else in TNA has succeeded? 0 people.
Right. But they also said that somebody was in creativity for TNA. Now they're looking at Road Dogg maybe jumping into the TNA creativity spot.
I mean, Tommy Dreamer's gone, but Road Dogg will be no better.
I beg to differ on that.
Okay.
And the reason why I do is
Go ahead.
the reason why I would disagree with you goes back to what this man said a little bit ago. If they're going to look at the idea of acquiring the product, you're going to want to have somebody who's there, who knows what the product they're buying, and they're going to start being able to convert that product into a WWE-esque brand.
Yep.
And then once that's there, because you've already got people who are kind of crossing between the two. Now, granted, you're not going to say that a Nick Nemeth or a Cedric Alexander or or the Hardys or any of those individuals are making the regular cross back and forth, but those are individuals who know what the WWE is looking for.
Yeah.
And again, it's the idea to build yet another WWE, I dare say, developmental program.
Oh, they'll be below NXT. It would be so unfortunate when that day comes.
Someone at
That would be between Evolve and NXT.
It's just so.
Wow.
They used to be the NWA territory, and now they're nothing. It just.
They've destroyed it.
They've killed
WWE in putting their name into TNA has actually, in my opinion, destroyed it and wiped it out.
I agree.
Someone we know quite well at NWA's World League Wrestling comes in every other week or so to work with the trainees. Matt Sydal hasn't been seen in AEW since losing to Konosuke Takeshita on a May 2024 episode of Dynamite, as the former Evan Bourne had surgery to repair an old motorcycle injury not long after his last AEW match, and only wrestled twice last year. There's no set plan or time frame for Seidel's return, but PW Insider says AEW officials have talked recently about bringing the high flyer veteran back. I got news for you, PW Insider. He was on AEW Collision just last night.
Exactly.
He is
When
back
did you
in the
print this,
fold
though?
this morning.
But when did they post it then?
This is from
This week.
yesterday.
Well,
Somebody who's behind the
see what
curtain.
he's doing?
Hey,
Yeah.
hey,
No, he's
yeah,
setting up
let
his
him
own-
know.
He's setting up
The
his
news
own
is
dirt.
there.
He's controlling his own narrative here.
You damn right I am. Because this is uncensored wrestling talk.
All I gotta say is wherever he is, that promotion's gonna benefit.
Absolutely.
Matt Seidel is a phenomenal in-ring competitor. Roots in St. Louis. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if AEW wants him, AEW can use him.
Yep.
He's one of those where wherever he goes, the wealth of knowledge is going to go up, and the product in turn will go up.
He has been a huge, huge help over at NWA World League Wrestling over this last year or so, roughly. Just coming in and working with the trainees and teaching them, and you know.
I miss Maddie. I miss Mike both.
We had Mike Seidel up in Lathrop, Missouri for that Lathrop Friendship Festival on that Saturday nights of it.
Okay, I'm just gonna
Looking
ask
awesome.
it because I know you probably were in the ring with him.
Yeah.
How is that man still able to bend the way he does?
He starts his match preparation hours before the show
Yep.
starts.
I know.
We were in the middle of a festival and he gets his yoga mat out.
Yep.
and
No
he
joke
just starts
here.
doing his yoga thing
Yep.
in the middle of the street.
People walking by and going,
Three
what
hours,
the heck is he doing?
3 hours before the show started, just to, I don't know, he's Mr. Yoga, so.
He is Mr.
Getting his
Yoga.
mind and his body right, and
Cheese
you know, he is the most polite person I've ever been in the ring with. When he's,
Did you say, excuse me, HD, can you move out of the way, please?
he'll say stuff to me like, can you please tell him to move to the other corners before the bell rings? Yeah. Or in the middle of the, he'll call a spot to the guy and be like, okay, we're gonna get up now, please. And I'm not kidding.
Wow.
I'm not kidding. Can we please go to the ropes now? Like, dude.
Hey, I gotta say this though, man. One of the best matches I had, and I said I've had a lot of matches in my time, was Camaro and Mike Seidel.
Yeah.
You were there that
I was
night.
probably Green Boy running the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But needless to say, those two just went out. And what was bad is they were figuring there was something, and I told them that it was we're close, and I was loud. We're close to time. And all of a sudden, they're both like, that's just how I worded it. And they're like, we thought you said it was time to be done. I'm like, no, I said we're close to being done. And they went out and they completely changed their ending, and it was just smooth as the other side of the pillow, and it was beautiful.
He's crisp.
Oh yeah, and that's one thing I will say, and I said at the top of the show, Camaro Jackson is going to be a champion somewhere. He is that good. I have been begging Fred Slow to take him to NWA New Mexico. There's a gentleman named Russell Jackman who's out of Northern California. I've been begging him to get Camaro on events. Camaro is, and I haven't worked with Camaro for years. Camaro is just that good. And another one that I want, that I hope will do great things, he just got to put some weight on, is Jalen Strong. Jalen Strong is one of those, he can go out there. I saw an event on a low sitting ring, but he can do some things with the standard height ring. On the low sitting ring, he went from the floor to the second rope by the corner, no hands, jumped off the second rope, close to halfway across the ring, and hit a destroyer.
real quick,
What kind of destroyer is he
Superfan,
particular
on your
about
phone, look up wrestler that passed away earlier this week in the Northeast. And as Superfan's doing that for me, Russell Votes Radio was told that WWE's relationship with Cyndi Lauper has improved. The probability that she is inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame is higher than ever. That's an interesting situation
Was
there.
there a fallout, or was there just
Big
a-
time.
Oh,
between-
that's big fallout.
Big fallout with Cyndi Lauper and the WWE back in the day.
I thought it was just a parting of ways, kind of.
Oh no.
Well, here's the one thing though, and a lot of, and again, not trying to poke a jab, but when
Poke the jab, poke the jab.
Yeah, when Wendy Richter went in, she took the bulk of what a Cyndi Lauper would say. I mean, again, it was one of those where she took the Rock and Wrestling Connection before Cyndi Lauper had the chance. And I mean, again, does she deserve to be in the Hall of Fame in a celebrity wing? I believe so.
Absolutely.
Maybe not just managerial. Like, does it have to be celebrity with Cyndi Lauper?
I think you almost got to put her celebrity.
I wouldn't put her in as a managerial
Okay,
way.
alright.
No.
Alright.
No.
I put it this way: Cyndi Lauper, Captain Lou. Cyndi Lauper. I don't want to say Freddie Blassie because Freddie Blassie had a pretty lengthy in-ring career, same like Lou Albano did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, put one of there. Jimmy Hart, Cyndi Lauper.
Slick Rick.
You talking about Jordan Saint?
Yes. Real quick, we want to make mention, it was brought to my attention earlier this week by a friend of mine, Carrie Positivity Smith, and thank you, Carrie, for bringing this to my attention. Young wrestler, 23 years old, out of the Northeast of the United States, Jordan Saint, driving along, and a car jumped over the median and hit him head on and passed away from that car accident. We want to say our condolences to his family and friends there in the Northeast. Just goes to show, you know, wrestlers are real people too. And it goes also to show, pay attention to what you're doing. Pay attention to what you're doing. And this wasn't during bad weather or anything along those kind of lines. It was straight sunny weather outside. Not a bad thing happening at the moment. And the person just, I guess, lost control, wasn't paying attention to what they were doing, crossed the median and head-on collision with Jordan Saint. So, again, condolences to that young man, to his family, and to his friends. And thank you to Carrie Positivity Smith for bringing that to my attention. Let's see here. F4W Online's Dave Meltzer.
Favorite.
Who? 7 stars.
That Road Dogg is quote unquote most likely joining TNA's creative team following the release of Tommy Dreamer. He thinks Dogg will probably make the same money, if not more, than Dreamer. And this is what I'm going to say about that. Carlos Silva made a point earlier this week that he has been letting wrestlers go and people in the back go to save money to make it look more, I guess the right word is attractive for the WWE to come in and buy.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I do not believe, I will be very, very extremely surprised, not that Road Dogg would go into TNA, but if he would make the same money or if more than Dreamer.
Well, Dreamer wasn't making much money to begin with because of the product he was putting on.
That's not true.
What do you think Dreamer was making?
True. Probably huge bucks. And he's been with Tommy.
I mean, what
has
do
been
you-
with TNA for years and years and years and years and years and years.
What's huge bucks?
6 figures at least.
Well, I want to
So
take
you, 100,000
At least.
minimum.
I could see it. Here's another spin though, and I just throw this one at you. Going back to what we talked about before. In the big picture here, if Road Dogg is going, and he's going to get his fair share of money. Doesn't matter what his role is, he's going to get his share of money.
Oh yeah.
Here's my question: where does that put Delirious?
Good question.
Because I mean, I'll tell you right now, I would hope upon hope that when push comes to shove, Remember when they acquired Adam Pearce? Remember when they acquired Nick Aldis?
Mm-hmm.
The WWE, that would be one of the golden things I think that they could take from a TNA acquisition, would be getting someone like Delirious on their roster. Not necessarily as a competitor, but put him in an executive position. I mean, I speak from years and years of experience. I speak from countless times of seeing our good broadcast colleague Patrick Brandmeier get his hat knocked off his head. Delirious has a mind for the wrestling industry. Now, granted, is it kind of scrambled a lot of the time? Yeah. But when it comes down to it, his ability in the ring, his knowledge of what's in the ring is unmatched. And if anything happens, he needs to be in some major promotion going forward.
Marty agrees with you.
Indeed.
Interesting stuff here as well. While discussing WWE's wrestling war against CMLL in Mexico and against AEW in the US, Meltzer claimed that somebody was upset that Tessa Blanchard was working for CMLL, which is on the AEW side. Given that TNA is on WWE's side of the war in the US, the company basically told her that you've got to choose. Well, that wasn't really being put out before Tessa Blanchard was released, and that's exactly why Tessa Blanchard was released. But here's my problem with being released like that. TNA knew ahead of time, well ahead of time, that she was going to be doing stuff with CMLL. They didn't say anything about it this entire last 2 or 3 months.
What I mean is somebody from WWE.
That's what I'm saying.
They were like, hey, what are you doing over here? And then they said, okay, she's gone.
It's one of those where somebody finally managed to read between the lines and realize you can't be in one company drawing from the AEW pool and work in CMLL, which potentially could be drawing from the WWE pool or vice versa. Right? TNA would be the WWE pool basically, and the CMLL would be the AEW pool. You can't draw from both of them. Kudos to her to being able to make it happen, but somebody kind of put two and
But
two
also
together.
TNA knew that she was doing that. They gave her the permission to go and book herself with CMLL.
But it goes back to the idea of Tim. No, hold up. I'm gonna put your head back on your head. I'm gonna give you the microphone that's not live. And I'm gonna give it for you.
So
it better be good.
No, I listened to what Tessa said. She basically said, "I've given up on TNA because I have more opportunity in CMLL." Now, does that mean, because also later on it was talking about, does she go to AEW eventually?
Sure, I hope so.
Probably now. Probably now that she's been released.
And
I wouldn't be
I think
surprised.
it would be a better. I would love. Actually, I kind of want to see Tessa now in AEW.
So do I.
Yeah.
And we'll get her in the mid card in 6 months because of the fact that their roster is so stacked.
Right.
And it is very, very stacked.
Her and Mercedes can have excellent matches.
No, she could take and push Mercedes out of the way.
A couple more here, and then we'll get out of here. According to PW Insider, TNA and Ohio Valley Wrestling are working on a deal that would turn OVW into essentially a developmental system for TNA.
Kind of already is, but unofficially.
It's expected that the deal will be signed very soon. TNA President Carlos Silva has apparently been in attendance at several recent OVW shows, but wasn't there for its 1400th episode. Interesting.
So OVW, in theory, if everything goes where the numbers are saying, OVW goes back to being a developmental of a developmental of a developmental for WWE.
Correct.
Yep. It's a good observation.
I'm happy I could follow it now. I can't 5 minutes from now, but I can follow it for
That
now.
would make them a D4 territory.
Well, here's a name that you just brought up a few moments ago. Another one of these rumors from PW Insider.
H.D. Daniels.
Hunter Delirious Johnston will quote unquote head up creative for TNA after Tommy Dreamer's exit. Insider's Mike Johnson writes that while there is always a chance more names will be brought on, former Ring of Honor wrestler and booker Delirious is the point person moving forward. It marks the second time in about 15 months that Johnson's been tapped as interim TNA creative lead.
Yes. I think it's one of those where he needs to be in that position. The only thing that's bad is he's going to get his opportunity, and it's going to get pushed aside because of corporate America. It's not, and it's sad to say, I don't think it's about the wrestling. I think it's about business. It's about economics, which it's scary that in 2026, that's what a lot of wrestling has become, is business and marketing versus what's in the ring. And like I said, I hope the best for him because he is one of the most knowledgeable minds I've ever had the chance to come in contact with. And I wish nothing but the best for him because he really is a phenomenal person in the world of pro wrestling. And like I said, he needs to be around for a while more because I can never get enough of him knocking Patrick Swayne World's hat off his head.
One more here before we get out of here. As if Danhausen hasn't already made the company enough human monies to buy every member of the board of directors their own Blimphausen, this week WWE filed trademarks on human monies for multiple types of merchandising.
And he's
Our
wrestled
teeth
twice.
coming soon.
Hasn't even wrestled.
He's wrestled twice, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
eat the
2 or 3
food.
times, something like that.
You
Something
know,
like that.
when you look at it this way, guys, and
And
you're
that's
not-
what's wrong with WWE.
You're not that way. Well, here's the idea. With the exception, and they've already written their narrative with the idea of the one game. Danhausen makes a comment, and the Knicks, I don't even want to know what the odds are. Run the table.
I know.
I mean, they're right now, if Danhausen never steps in a ring again, he has the opportunity in about the next 90 days to make enough money that he would be safe and he could basically make everybody in this room safe.
Yeah.
I've heard, and again, Sarge and I have talked about this, that they're going to have a Fanatics. It's going to be a Fanatics Fest right around SummerSlam time. The line is going to be blocks down the road.
The longest line there, probably.
Uh-huh.
Yep. More than likely.
And that's what's wrong with WWE.
I did see something that somebody said where with Mike and the Kit and Matt that he's building his own faction, and that would be entertaining a little bit.
Yeah. You know, Dave Meltzer noted in the daily update that the expectation, not surprisingly, WWE will heavily push Danhausen after the Knicks title win, and he will likely do more media crossover stuff, especially with ESPN, and he expects them to, quote-unquote, push this as hard as they can because it's a WWE PR deal.
And
Ain't
again,
wrong.
I'm honestly surprised he wasn't at the parade.
I was too.
when it's billions to one in the odds. I mean, again, you have to go in the wrestling industry or in business in general. If something is working, you have to capitalize on it for as long as it's possible. And Danhausen right now, by something completely unrelated to wrestling, has created.
Lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, I mean, he's close to it.
Jar of teeth.
If anything else happens, he's going to create. And this is crazy. I think he could potentially, if something else could materialize, and he can put his hand on it, and it works, he could create Rock and Wrestling Connection. Focus. Yeah,
they're not,
focus.
they're not playing
Human
up the
monies.
hurricane thing, where he uncursed the hurricanes and they won.
I haven't heard about that one.
It's one of those where he's going to make the money. And if he can do something like that again, you're going to see what else can he touch that turns to gold or to teeth, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. Since he took that curse off of the Knicks, they only lost one game the entire rest of the way.
And you know why, so.
And he was
And you
booed
know
out
why
of the
now.
building on his debut.
Do what?
He was booed out of the building on his debut.
He was. You were there
I
in
was there.
Chicago.
Nobody was happy to see him. No
And you
one.
didn't tell me so you could bring me back a Danhausen t-shirt. I'm set.
H.D. Daniels, would you like to do the honors, good sir?
Sure.
While HD is standing up to go over to the cameras, Luke Roberts, James Harris, Mr. John back here. Again, thank you so much to you guys for coming in. Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, July the 19th. Get your tickets. ISTLWHOF.com. You want to plug that one more time real quick for the rest of them out there?
For those that want to get tickets, www.istlwhof.com. Tickets are $30 in advance, $35 at the door. That is Sunday, July 19th at Andres Banquet Center, 4254 Telegraph Road in St. Louis, Missouri. You get a meal, you get to look at the history of St. Louis professional wrestling on the independent level, you get to see the inductions, and so much more. Make it a point to check us out, and when you check that out, make it a point to go and get your tickets at HarleyRace.com for all your WLW events. And while you're at it, hit the bell, hit the like, hit the subscribe for Uncensored Wrestling.
I like this
There you
guy.
go. I like this guy. We're going to have him on more often.
All right.
Anything else from you there, super fan?
Say the word.
Say it.
I am not saying-
You will feel so much better.
No,
if you just let it
I want to
out.
give a shout out to my wife.
Okay.
She was scrolling through stuff, and she actually found out, I guess, at Bash at the Beach, AEW, Paul White is going to do a retirement match.
Interesting.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting stuff.
From my wife. She was digging the dirt sheets.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you to her. A big old yeet. How
big-
many yeets are we up to, by the way?
That is 127.
Sorry, just give your wife a big old yeet.
Now we're at 130. The next time we will have to make 260. Can it be done? I think it can be.
Get the right people.
I think it can be. Again, for these three gentlemen here, for Superfan HD Daniels, do you have anything else real quick before you hit the buttons?
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, Superfan. Happy Father's Day to you. Happy Father's Day to you, gentlemen. Anything else from you, Superfan?
No, that's it.
He's got nothing. For the first time in a while, Superfan's got nothing to say. So with that being said, until we're back here next Sunday, go watch some wrestling. Oh. Ding!
Hold on, let me get this one.